Let's go, Brandon. I agree.
Very nice.
And we are on! Everything is working. Good. Welcome. My name is Ike. This is TAGN, the Angry Game News. Once in a full moon, it happens these days. I'm gonna talk, as usual, on TAGN, on the Angry Game News, about video games, mainly. Sometimes about shows, movies and such, very rarely about comics. And we have some nuggets today, actually. GameStop is in all people's minds since pretty much Monday. And they try to buy up eBay. Not they, one particular individual, the CEO, is being a little bit too stupid, trying to be an Amazon competitor, which is very, very, very retarded. But that comes later. Before we get to that news piece, let's just check what happened the last 6-7 days or so ago. Overall, for example, Amazon pilots playable game demos on Twitch. Amazon is testing the ability to play game demos through Twitch, not Switch. As noted by games journalist Zach Bussey, the feature was being tested with a 20-minute demo of Tarsier Studios' Reanimal. Bussey demonstrated launching the demo directly on Twitch instead of downloading it from Steam. After the demo loads, a timer appears. Then, when the time expires, users are prompted to visit the game's Steam page. Bussey believes Reanimal is the first game tested and that it uses some kind of cloud-based access in order to play the game through a feature called Game Lift. I never heard of Game Lift. Never heard of that. And in particular, it's interesting to me because Amazon, who owns Twitch since a few years now, roughly 8 years, something like that, and launched roughly maybe like 6 years or so. Oh, what the fuck am I hearing voices? Sorry. Ahoy, ouch, my jong and haste. They launched Luna, their gaming streaming, cloud-based streaming service. And now they have also this Game Lift, which is just too confusing. Why making so little compartmentalized little features, little services out there, instead of just putting everything under one umbrella and keeping like the overhead of companies lower? Because I'm pretty sure they're gonna use Luna in the background somehow with this Game Lift. He also stated that the demo is primarily intended as an ad product. GamesIndustry.biz has contacted AWS for details in additional games pricing and plans for a broader rollout. Amazon Web Services, AWS, originally launched its paid service Game Lift for deploying, operating, and scaling session-based multiplayer games in 2016. It then launches Amazon Game Lift Streams cloud gaming service in March 2025 and expanded it to 6 new regions in January 2026. So maybe they are going to shift from Luna completely to this Game Lift because the Game Lift seems to be older, and maybe that's the actual basis of Luna. Who the fuck knows at this point? But by the way, Amazon still the biggest web service provider and server provider globally. Only pretty much Microsoft with Azure can compete it, and Alibaba with their platform, whatever they have in China. It then launched on Amazon Game Lift Streams Cloud. The service allows streaming games at up to 1080p resolution and 60 frames per second to any device with a browser. Interesting, huh? Amazon Luna was great when it let you play some GOG games. They're removing that functionality. Since when and why? That's the good question. I mean, they are still giving you, if you have Amazon Prime, GOG games. Every month, about 10 games for free, roughly. So I don't know how the partnership is going to continue in the future with that. Let me close one window. I guess this makes some odd sounds for me. But this is interesting because they are trying to push it on Twitch directly, meaning if you play a certain game, you probably can link it to this game lift service, making a little something if somebody subscribes service over their Twitch channels and such. So it's kind of interesting that they are implementing it directly on Twitch now, and hopefully it's gonna go well and people are gonna enjoy it. I'm not a big fan of the cloud streaming services in general, mainly because I hate certain delays from your input to your happening on the screen. That's my biggest grime. I don't mind ping issues, actually. I don't mind if I have a bigger ping in online games, but when I press a button, I want on the screen to react my character immediately, pretty much. Streaming is nice on Steam Deck to prolong battery life. Yeah, I guess certain games are not big issue, but when you play a game that is very dependent on immediate reaction, I just get frustrated. I bought Sniper Ghost Warrior on GOG for 75 cents. Isn't that the first Sniper game? Yeah. So good deal. You're not gonna lose really anything there for 75 cents. No, Amazon Luna is stopping library-based streaming, all subscription-based. Well, I guess that's a little sign they are moving to GameLift in general, putting everything under the GameLift umbrella instead of the other way around. I would say like 3 months ago, when you went to gaming.amazon.com, it was more obvious for getting like the free games, like GOG, or they have also a partnership with Epic Store, actually, Amazon Prime members. You're gonna get also quite a lot of extra free games on Epic Store. I claim all of those just to make all those fuckers pay in general. I have no access to my Epic anymore because Epic doesn't reply. They have no contact for support, whatever, right? It's weird. I mean, you can contact the support if you can log in to your account, but that's my issue. I can't log in into my account. They don't send me a login code, fuckers. Anyhow, so yeah, let's see how this goes with Twitch, and maybe they're gonna make some more revenue with it, having some deals with particular games. Who the heck knows? I played Robocop on Luna. It was great. I got it on GOG directly. How about that? Wuchang! Fallen Feathers Death Cells IP to publisher 505 Games, parent company Digital Bros. Italian game company Digital Bros has bought the Wuchang Fallen Feathers intellectual property rights. The parent company of Wuchang Fallen Feathers, publisher 505 Games, Digital Bros, purchased the IP rights from developer Chengdu Lingze Technology Co. Ltd. for around $4.6 million US. In my opinion, that's a very cheap acquisition there. The game is somewhat pretty successful overall, you know. It's gonna make them money. And because it is pretty successful and it's a safe deal for them, that's why they got it. Roughly 8 months ago, I talked about Digital Bros. They blaming like players are too selective. That show was, I looked it up today, number 39 of the TAGN, the game news. Go look it up. I talked about them, those fuckers, blaming, as usual, the players for their not so well-performing games. They have quite a few well-performing games, actually. You don't know a lot of those games, but if you look up their library, they have quite nice games there. But for the recent ones, 8-9 months ago, I talked about, they blamed the gamer for they being just too selective. They want quality. What is wrong with those players wanting quality in their games? Fuck faces. UrhG is a free PS Plus game this month. I think on PS Plus you also still get this month, and it's your last chance as far as I watch the news today. I read about 8 to 9 hours of news today. You should play a game called Nine Souls. It's a side-scroller, Dark Souls-like Metroidvania game. Very good game, very good game. Amazing soundtrack, and love the gameplay. And I also like the art style. This secures full ownership of the Souls-like action RPG and all future royalties. IP rights allow a person or company to patent, trademark, or copyright protect something they've created, even if it's an intangible asset, like the story or a particular mechanic in a video game. From there, they can release media like books, games, TV shows, and so on, safe in the knowledge that others cannot copy the recycle them without permission. Yeah, like I said, for them it's just a safe bet. Digital Bros, it's a safe bet. Successful game. I'm not sure why the Chinese company sold it to them for that amount of money. That's pretty low. They made way more money with this whole game. I'm really not. I'm confused. I'm confused why they sell a successful game so far for that cheap. Like all the rights. And the article even points out what you can do with all the full ownership of the whole IP. Digital Bros said UrhG Fallen Feathers demonstrates strong commercial traction after its release last year, confirming the game had sold over 1 million units since July 2025, generating more than 35.1 million in revenue. It believes the IP will enhance the group's ability to make timely decisions regarding its future development and related investments, and forms part of its commitment to expanding its market share of fully owned games franchises. Yeah. Again, in the hindsight of what they said last year, roughly 8-9 months ago, go look it up, episode number 39, 99, you know. It's just amazing to me. I find it very fascinating that they are so fucking blunt now to act like, yeah, it's a risk, but we see a great future for this game. And on the other hand, 9 months ago, blaming the players for their games that didn't perform that well. It's just weird, isn't it? Fuck the Digital Bros. Fuck the Digital Bros. Despite having a great library overall. Death Stranding for PC was released by them, ported by them, or at least published. Dead by Daylight is their property. Terraria, very successful. Control sold about 6 million now. We have a new number. Actually, this week, Control 6 million in its lifetime. I tried to play it, PS4, very bad performance. I never touched it again. Trying out Everspace 2 and Doom Eternal demos on Steam. Says, ouch. I pre-ordered UrhG for the slutty outfit, worth it. I grabbed Nine Souls on PS Plus. Nine Souls is one of the other free games on PS Plus. That's what I said, bitch. Why are you not listening? Why are you not listening, fucking Cockneygian? Grab it and play it. Okay. We have some GTA news, of course. Why not? Our job is to charge way less of the value. GTA 6 unlikely to cost $100+ on the PS5. For eons, there's been speculation about whether GTA 6 will cost more than the average game. It's expected, after all, to be the biggest title ever released. It's following on from GTA 5, which has sold a remarkable 225 million copies since it launched in 2013. Yeah, it's a mixed number, 225. I mean, it's a big number in general. But a lot of those copies sold were not like sold directly to people because they bought it, but because Epic Store, for example, gifted the game multiple times over the lifetime of GTA 5 since it's on PC available. And I wonder how many people really got it over that. Like, is it 10%, 20%? Who the heck knows? They're never going to publish those numbers. But I assume a few millions got like sold as gifted over Epic Store there. 225 million copies since it launched in 2013. But speaking at the Interactive Innovation Conference, Take-Two bigwig Strauss Zelnick appeared to push back against rumors that the Rockstar's upcoming open world could cost $100 or more. Zelnick said, as reported by IGN, consumers pay for the value that you bring to them, and our job is to charge way less of the value delivery. How you feel about something you buy is the intersection of the thing itself and what you pay for it. Consumers need to feel like the thing itself is amazing and the price they were charged was fair for what they got. When I read this piece, that doesn't tell me it's not gonna cost $100. He's just saying it might be actually valued $120, but you're gonna pay only $100. Like, just technically viewing it, it could be still very well $100. I still think it's gonna be $90, pretty much. It's not gonna go lower than $80. That's for absolutely sure. But I'm pretty confident it's gonna be $90. And their deluxe version and their premium deluxe version, it's gonna be $120, maybe $200 for the version that gets you lifetime support and additional content and such. I'm not gonna buy it. I don't care for it. I found GTA since GTA 4 not super interesting. And I'm going to be very honest, I never played one of the GTAs ever completely through. I like them, but I get sidetracked too much just shooting around in GTA. But yes, this little segment, this little sentence by Strauss Zelnick doesn't tell me it's not going to be way less than $100, at least. Cracked GTA 5 was the best version I played. I love Saints Row 2. Isn't Saints Row 2 like old? Isn't there a Saints Row 4 or 5 also? Anyhow, that doesn't assure to me it's not gonna be $100. That's all I can say to it. So you might have heard it. I heard it just this week, pretty much, that finally Assassin's Creed, the remake or remaster of the Black Flag, is finally coming. And some people are not happy. Some people are not happy. They spotted certain stuff on the box itself. Assassin's Creed fans furious as physical copies of Black Flag's PS5 remake will require internet. And I guess it's a remake because it has a full overhaul of the visuals too, and the engine and all that. And that's what fans spotted. Internet required to install the game. Assassin's Creed Black Flag resynced the PS5 remake of Ubisoft's iconic nautical open world will require a download if you purchase the physical version. A disclaimer on the box art for both the US and European editions confirmed that the internet is required to install the game. It's similar to messaging we've seen on titles like Crimson Desert. It's currently unclear exactly why this is the case, but we'll contact the French publisher and try to get confirmation, says here poshsquare.com. In some cases, like the aforementioned Crimson Desert, the game package is simply too big to fit on a single Blu-ray, and the dev has decided to not ship it on 2 discs. In others, like Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, physical copies are effectively game discs. Yeah, I think Indiana Jones and the Great Circle was like 180 gigabyte, something like that. It's absolutely crazy to me how games just can be that big, and you don't see like this amazing more content. It looks good with those big games, but it's just weird to me that the game's getting bigger and bigger and bigger for no apparent like visual reasons, at least. But yeah, it's kind of old, but it's still a great GTA clone. Yeah, I'm not getting this. I'll just play OG Black Flag. PS5 Pro upscaling the original 1080p game to 4K. You love your pisser. You love your pisser haste. You absolutely love your pisser upscaler there. Yeah, and some people weren't happy. They're calling for boycotts. I mean, fine, you can boycott it. I am absolutely not against it. Regardless of the reasoning, some fans are already furious at Ubisoft's decision here, calling for boycotts and describing the physical version as little more than a coaster. Another user on Reddit said even though they love the original Black Flag, they won't buy the remake if it has online requirement to work. Gamers are getting increasingly frustrated at the restrictive nature of new game releases, especially when it comes to physical copies. In this instance, if Sony's servers were to ever be taken offline, the Blu-ray would no longer be able to install the game. Well, big surprise, it's a Ubisoft game. Big surprise, Ubisoft were in the news the last fucking 5 years with all kinds of bullshit. Fails over fails over fails over fails, sexual harassment, court cases with which they lost. At least the manager lost who worked at that time at Ubisoft. Ubisoft laid them off, of course, and said, "Oh, we didn't know. I mean, those were high-ranked managers, and we were in contact us because that was actually us." But yeah, who cares, right? It's a shit show with Ubisoft, as usual. And, well, if you like Black Flag that much and you don't assume the Ubisoft and the Sony servers will go offline anytime soon, I guess you're gonna have fun the next 10 years with this remake. But that kind of beats the purpose of the physical games, doesn't it? If you need to download additional content because it's just too big for one disc. Why just not publishing it on 2, 3 disc, whatever? I remember certain games back in the days, especially when they had like cutscenes and videos, Wing Commander and such back in the days, 4 to 7 CDs, you know. You could make a game still with 3 Blu-rays if necessary. You know, that's very, very much possible. They don't cost that much to produce Blu-rays, pretty much like in the CD era from the mid-90s to the mid-10s, these millennia. They cost you cents in fucking pressing it. Cents. Maybe like 20, 30 cents. Depends on the quantity, of course, but usually you can produce those very cheap. So there's no reason why you would need a stupid online download. It's actually not a pisser for PS4 games. Yeah, for PS4 not, but you talked about PS5, so shut up. PS4 Pro, I don't know what upscaler they use, but it's not gonna be like as efficient as the PS5 Pro. AI won't allow a 16-year-old in a garage to make Battlefield 7 or GTA 7, EA CEO says. Electronic Arts is among the numerous game developers who are embracing AI in their development processes, and now CEO Andrew Wilson has commented further on the controversial topic. Speaking to the iconic double I event in Las Vegas this week, as reported by GameFile, Wilson said he recently saw some internal EA data that said about 85% of the company's quality assurance work is being done today alongside some kind of machine learning or AI-driven algorithm. I really want to see what's the workflow here. Because isn't the quality assurance team, the QA team, the team who overlooks like the end product and sees if there are flaws because of AI, whatever AI? How can AI make that very particular work, that observant work easier, really? Especially with a game where you need to game it to see where the flaws are, where a glitch might happen. If the quality team just plays the game and tries everything they can to make the game glitch out or even crash and all that, and point out, yeah, you need to fix that stuff. How exactly is the workflow here, and that the AI tools are going to help them? I just can't imagine it right now in my head, how this workflow is working, how this goes along with the quality assurance team. This has not led to lower employment at EA for QA work, he said. We hire more QA people than we ever have, he said. The executive went on to say that EA's QA teams are using AI for the simple stuff, but he doesn't explain anything what that simple stuff might be. What, to start up the game? Like you're telling some AI that listen to you, start up the game? Is that the simple stuff? What is it? What is the simple stuff here? Related to this, he said EA has needed to hire more QA workers to check the work, which sounds odd, though we do not know the specifics of this situation. That's what I'm saying the whole time. This follows on from a Harvard Business Review report that said early findings suggest that AI doesn't reduce work, it intensifies it. Yeah, Harvard Business, sure. I'm not going to trust any universities these days, really, on such decision and political decisions and all that, because that's a political decision. You're going to hire more people for quality, but using AI, and you're demanding AI in certain ways. Before this, Wilson said advancements to AI will inevitably lead to job losses in the short term, but will ultimately lead to net gains in employment in the long run, as was the case with other historical labor shifts. It's still early days for this prediction. I think that's completely utter bullshit what he says. Like historically, when you have like machines that do the work of like 100 people in less time, led to hire more people. Sure, buddy, sure. So you're making some odd comparisons here, especially about labor shifts. That's absolutely utter bullshit talk by Wilson here, in my humble retard opinion. Because all those companies, all those big companies that are traded on the stock market, they want to be as efficient as possible as they can, to spend as less money as possible for the same quality and same work. If they can do it with machines, they absolutely will. The only reason why your work is not done by a machine is because you are cheaper than the machine would be able to do it at this very moment. That can change in 3-4 years, when those algorithms, when those large language models figure out how to do exactly your work. The same quality, but non-stop, 24/7. So he's just bullshitting everybody right now here. And especially because it seems like he didn't know before he read those reports, internal reports himself, that this was the case, that everybody is using AI internally. Now he is embracing it more. Also during the interview, Wilson, like Take-Two boss Strauss Zelnick before him, said people are overestimating what AI can do. Yes, that's true, but only because the AI is not as efficient like human at this moment. Do I think that a 16-year-old in a garage is going to create the Battlefield or an EA Sports FC or Sims or Call of Duty or a GTA? I actually don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, he said. Funny that he said that, because just this week I saw a new little piece by James Corbett from the CorbettReport.com, and he's on Rumble here too. He talked about specific polls, about the topic of polls, and he pointed out that those polls are all useless these days because more and more companies draw poll numbers from AI-generated predictions, like hallucinations actually, which is completely weird and absolutely crazy to me. Why that's even allowed to point out those as polls, because no human being was asked and such. And he pointed out a company called Aru or something like that, and it's $1 billion worth company, and it was made. It's an AI prediction model platform, like how the whole humanity moves forward, and you don't need even polls. You just know. The AI just knows for magical reasons how people are really going to react to certain events globally and such. And those were 16-year-old teenager when they made that stuff. So AI is moving, despite some companies are falling apart. ChatGPT with OpenAI is not looking great. Elon Musk is gonna probably purge that company and buy off the infrastructure at one point. That's just my assumption at this very moment. But yes, those teenagers are gonna use AI in certain ways, and they might be able, because curiosity, because free time, because many teenagers are also super smart too globally, and they can have access to just a high-end GPU, make a model, program it, and all that, and let it out in the world. And maybe in 5 to 10 years, actually a teenager will be able to make a GTA or a Battlefield if he's just smart enough and has certain infrastructure at his disposal. As an example, Wilson said when YouTube launched, one school of thought was that people like acclaimed film director Steven Spielberg would be out of job, while others thought YouTube would be full of cat videos and people would quickly lose interest. Neither of those things happened. Spielberg is still making big movies, and YouTube led to creation of hugely popular creators like Mr. Beast and IShowSpeed. One is very fake in game, Mr. Beast. Don't trust any of those numbers. It's all about Mr. Beast is absolutely fake. Everything. He's not worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And yeah, fuck that bullshit. And IShowSpeed, I just find it not funny. That's all. They coexist, and both have grown dramatically, Wilson said. Well, Steven Spielberg doesn't make really that many movies since the YouTube days, actually. And YouTube has changed the landscape, though. Like, he pretending here, Wilson, the CEO of EA, pretending here that YouTube has not changed the landscape dramatically is absolutely also garbage talk. YouTube has made it possible for many, many, many people, like in their office, in their living room, just to put up a webcam and talk into a microphone, tell about their thoughts, to pull way more numbers than certain whole franchises. Just as a little reminder, go check up on Nerdrotic and his chair stream versus on YouTube. It was also released or shown the latest Star Trek show. The chair, just the chair, streaming a chair, empty chair, had more viewers than Paramount, with their multi-million-dollar production. So yeah, I think it doesn't seem to understand really how this stuff works these days about streaming. So maybe you should not have made that comparison, at least, Mr. Wilson. Wilson said, user-generated content powered by AI tools can be a really positive and really important thing for the gaming industry. But I don't think it is going to destroy the existing industry, he said. Depends. Anything can happen. You never know. Some whiz kid could be that smart, making a really efficient large language model that is attuned specifically to make engines of games. And with other tools combined, you can make maybe a full game, full playable games for extremely cheap and all alone. Who knows? Who knows? We couldn't have predicted, at least most of us couldn't have predicted, like 6 years ago, from that Will Smith spaghetti nightmare, AI nightmare videos, to videos that, if you pay a little bit attention, if you put a little bit more effort into the prompts and picking out certain styles and such in the like scenery of a video, you can't tell if it's a real human being these days, really, already. Just pointing that out. So he might miss here a certain point in history right now. AI is fake and gay. It is. That kid's wicked smart, Mr. Deadeyes, SensorTube. He is he is probably even an android, who knows. He's not funny. He is, I don't know why YouTube thinks that, or thought that was a good deal for humanity to promote that soul guy, Mr. Beast. One of Google's latest AI tools, Project Genie, was released earlier this year, and it claims it can create worlds generated in real time. People quickly put it to use to create rip-offs of Mario and Fortnite, among many others, and the buzz around Genie triggered a massive sell-off in gaming stocks like Take-Two, Unity, and Roblox, with the prevailing theory that game developers and creators of game engines are in trouble if anyone anywhere can make a game by promoting an AI tool. I'm not going to read the rest. EA is still in the purchasing process by the Saudi Arabia public fund, $55 billion US. He might miss just some certain signs, what is happening right now. I am not a big fan of like AI as a creative mechanism in that sense, meaning it's too lazy. Many people don't understand AI. They just prompt stuff and think like, oh yeah, the AI is just magic. No, all those tools are large language models. They are gathering information. They are not like really making anything new in that sense. If it's not a specific large language model that can combine certain stuff in that matter, they are just scouring and searching throughout the whole web upon your prompt those words, and other people who made similar prompts and got the results and maybe upvoted that result and such. That's how those algorithms works. They are just gathering information and making upon already existing work, all those newer works. Yeah. So it's hard to predict, though. It's hard to predict. And none of those AIs are really AIs. They are not artificial intelligence. Some human is very specifically telling this or that AI how it should behave and who is really in control. None of those AI will get like in a rogue mode and going rogue like in Mission Impossible. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. At least not as long as they are like on without any with controls mechanisms. Some admin always has higher access to it. And if they admins are that stupid and let the AI, the large language model, override the core, yeah, I mean, then it could happen something horrible. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I'll be exact. Because they are not going to let control of their tools, of their control mechanisms. What was that? Yeah. A Japanese retailer is trying to stop Pokemon card scalpers by making them take a test first. I'm very torn apart by this behavior by the retailer here. I don't think they have anything to say and to tell a customer how much they can buy. As long as he has the money, the demand is there with the money, you have the product, just sell it. It's not like an existential product. It's not like water, you know, that you might want to give it to other people, not to starve, not to starve. What do they say it with water? I forgot in English. But yeah, it's not like such a product. It's a luxury item. A Japanese retailer is taking steps to prevent Pokemon card scalpers by making them prove their knowledge first. At least one branch of electronics retailer, Big Camera, which has 45 stores across Japan, is reportedly demanding that would-be customers looking to buy the latest Pokemon trading card game set have to take a test first. As spotted by ex-users Ryo Zaiba, the Big Camera branch in Ikabukuro, Tokyo has posted a sign for anyone who wishes to buy a box of Mega Evolution Ninja Spinner cards, which contains 30 packs. The sign says boxes are limited to one per customer, and even then they won't be sold unless 3 conditions are met. Firstly, the customer has to take a quiz, which Zaiba says consists of 15 questions based on the Pokemon universe. Only those who answer the quiz questions correctly will be able to purchase the item. The sign says, warning that if anyone takes a photo of the quiz questions, they will be refused service. The customer also needs to have either a Big Camera rewards card or the Big Camera app. That's a shitty move in general, like requesting an app or a membership of some sort just because you want to buy more. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. Finally, they have to agree to let the cashier remove the shrink wrap and cut along the box perforations. By doing this, the customer can no longer resell the item as new and unsealed. This is absolutely a no-go for me. If I want a absolutely brand new product, you know, from a retailer, and they telling me, yeah, I'm gonna cut this open anyhow so you can't resell. what is it your business to fucking if I want to resell it in the first place? You know, it's just it's not. I mean, I guess it's helping not to scalp that much, like whole boxes, sure, as brand new, but you still can sell the small packages, you know, and you still can sell it and just claim like, yeah, they opened it. But I'm not going into this business, at least. Also, I'm not buying Pokemon cards anyhow. While scalpers, those who purchase products at retail price and resell them for a huge markup, have been a problem for the Pokemon company. For a long time, the practice has become more widespread in recent years as more stories are told of cards being resold at high amounts. A number of stores in Japan, including the official Pokemon Center stores, have been removing the plastic film from the outside of the ceiling boosters boxes when purchased in those stores, in an effort to disuse scalpers. Because customers on the secondary market can't trust that the packs haven't been tampered with. For a normal consumer buying cards at the Pokemon Center or big camera branch in this story, the removal of the outside packaging makes no difference. That's what you say. I guess you decide, you let the consumer, the customer, decide for themselves if it matters to them. Just pointing that out. As the packs themselves remain sealed, and there's no chance of the cards being tampered with as they are being purchased from a reliable retailer. No chance, because the retailer is so reliable. Never ever in human history has a retailer messed up consumers and customers. Never. Oh, what a stupid phrase at the end. So, I mean, like I said at the beginning, I'm kind of torn apart about this story. First, yeah, you're protecting certain customer from buying it for way too high prices on eBay or whatnot. On the other hand, obviously there's a demand, right? Why don't you sell it on eBay directly? Why is the Pokemon company not producing it more? Because the demand is so high. Otherwise, people wouldn't buy it for those high prices on eBay. I'm really confused by those stories. I'm not a Pokemon fan. I couldn't care less. Like, it's not my money, but just the behavior and how it's done by those retailers, I find it a little bit weird. Just weird. Greedfall developer Spiders shuts down. Spiders, the Nacon-owned Paris-based studio behind Greedfall, The Dying World, Steel Rising. I find this a great game. Robot Souls-like. The original Greedfall and more will close after 18 years in operation, the developer announced. The planned downloadable content for Greedfall, The Dying World, will still release via publisher Nacon. But after that, Spiders puts it, well, that's it. Here's the full message from Spiders on the company's closure. You can read it. Links as usual all down below if you want to read the whole thing for yourself on all those articles. Now I find that double perplexing for me, because a month ago I talked about Nacon, that they are in the insolvency process. They said like, yeah, we're out of money. We can't operate anymore. So it's just weird they're still releasing, I guess, because those games are finished and made, and those add-ons are finished and made. Why not release it? The problem is the support later on, though. Despite all that, Nacon, a month ago I talked about this. Despite all that, Nacon still is having a showcase of May 7th, which is tomorrow. Following a delay from its previously planned March 4 air date, Nacon Connect 2026 will now air on May 7 at 11 a.m. Pacific Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, Nacon announced. The broadcast will feature exciting updates on our biggest games, brand new announcements, and exclusive surprises, including the Mount Omen of Cthulhu, Edge of Memories, Endurance Motorsport Series, and Hunter the Reckoning Death Wish. I mean, I guess they are like, yeah, we have no money, but we are not being bought up by anybody, and we are in the insolvency process. But still, we have those products. Why not showing it to you? Maybe somebody's gonna save our stuff. I don't mess with Pokemon cards. I don't mess with any of those trading cards. I think it's I guess for many people a nice hobby, but I think it's one of the most expensive hobbies these days. Wizards of the Coast, or Wizards of Coast, the Hasbro owned trading card producer, making like billions monthly on all kinds of IPs with their cards. Final Fantasy, One Piece, all sorts of cards and IPs are being produced by Wizards of the Coast. And of course, like Dungeons and Dragons and Lord of the Rings cards. It's a multi-billion industry just with stupid cards, which is just interesting, isn't it? And yes, Nikon Connect. I'm not gonna. Maybe I'm gonna watch it. I'm not sure. The only game I tried, because I talked about it last time, and Haste was like, he likes what was it? The Goblins rogue game. I forgot. Sticks? No, it wasn't Sticks. Anyhow, I tried the last game. The last game in their series. It didn't play well. It looks like visually appealing, but gameplay-wise, it was very unfinished, very quirky, very like stiff and all that. But yes, good wishes to Nikon for the future, I guess. But I don't see anybody as interesting. Like, I haven't seen any news that anybody is gonna buy them up and save them from disappearing. Because they have quite a few IPs, you know. After taking on pirates and leakers, Nintendo's next target is a popular Pokemon YouTuber. Nintendo is well known for the aggressive protection of its brands, and the YouTuber behind the popular series of National Geographic video game videos claims to be in the receiving on the receiving end of the copyright strikes from the company. According to the creator of the video series, Elios, probably Greek guy, maybe, his channel has been hit with dozens of copyright strikes by Nintendo of America, and he only has a few days left until it is deleted. Because of the multiple strikes issued against 20 of his videos and YouTube's three strikes policy, the channel is set to be deleted from the platform in a week. As for the videos in question, Elios has been producing short nature documentaries featuring Pokemon, using original custom-made animations. He said, "I have 7 days until my channel is deleted. Nintendo of America has copyright striked so many of my videos. They've done it multiple times now, within the span of 12 hours. I'm downloading stuff, of course. I have all the videos myself, but I'll never be able to post them again. And I'll never be able to use this channel again. Over 100,000 subscribers, over 3 years of making these animations. And it's all going to be gone in 7 days." What might have caught Nintendo's legal eye are two things: the audio from these videos, as they use the sprite-like roars of Pokemon, which Elios said are under 3 seconds and fall under fair use, and the formation of a Patreon to allow fans to financially support the creation of new videos. The creator is willing to take down the videos to appease Nintendo, but he's lamenting the fact that he'll be losing a channel that he spent years growing. I've been Elios of Elios Entertainment, and Poke National is over. It's over. Well, sucks, but it's nothing new with Nintendo. Nintendo is very, very brutal about its brands, its IPs, about what they deem their copyright is infringed in whatever shape or form, or even the smallest amount. So they will not care for 3 seconds, just snippets, really, especially with YouTube being behind all those claimants. And those strikes will not disappear. And YouTube AI has gone pretty rogue over the last 3-4 weeks, just straight up banning certain channels, and they have no chance to like appeal to those bans because the AI just decided, yeah, something is off. I mean, you made a lot of money for yourself and YouTube, but I think you should not have access anymore to your own content you created over the years because of copyrights or community issues. He could switch to Digimon. Who owns Digimon? I don't know. And yeah, YouTube will not care for fair use. Those times are long gone with the first ad apocalypse on YouTube, which was around 2012. And it was completely over after they doubled down on like freedom of speech and censoring. First, they were like big on freedom of speech, actually. A little history about YouTube. There was in 2015-ish, 14-ish, maybe 13. I am not exactly sure the dates, but there was a happening with a video called "The Life of the Prophet" or something. The Prophet's life. I think it was the life of the Prophet Muhammad, and it was just a play how the official biography of the Prophet Muhammad from Islam. They some actor just played, and they just made like a kind of a super cut over the whole biography. Like he's a warrior, he has a donkey who is his best friend, which is just what happens in the biography. And because they depicted Prophet Muhammad, the Muslim world was not very happy about it. But YouTube back then was very firm on the stand, like, we are not going to delete this video. Freedom of speech is going to be upheld, blah, blah, blah. And they put the video back up. They just took it down for a week or 2 weeks, or just a very short period, really. And in the same time frame, there was this pastor who also burned Qurans on his channel and in public. And of course, Muslims were not happy, just like Christian would not be super happy if you burn the Bible. That's just how it is with religions, and very understandable, right? Why you would burn that doesn't matter really, but it's your property. You can burn a book if you want it with your own property. Who really gives a fuck about that, right? But understandably, it's a holy book for certain people. And YouTube was also standing firm on that issue too. And half a year later, I would say after those happenings, YouTube made a 180. That was when everything went to shit pretty much about those woke mind viruses globally, but mainly in the Western world. Oi, Cocteau. And YouTube since then, roughly since about 2015-ish, after the apocalypse, after those religious outcries and outrages, YouTube made half a year later after those happenings 180, and since then it never gone worse for people on YouTube. It's a censoring platform. Very simple. Community guidelines were enhanced every year or so. Became larger and larger. What you are not allowed to do, you are not allowed to curse in the first 30 seconds because the algorithm will find out and demonetize you and blah blah blah. I'm streaming right now to YouTube too. Nobody's watching me there, probably because I'm kind of shadow banned. I'm not sure on YouTube. Can't say because I used many naughty words already and have a lot of naughty topics. So yeah, who the heck knows? But yes, that's how it goes with YouTube. They don't care for the content creators. And I get it. Sometimes people straight up just copy and upload stuff on YouTube on their channel, like full movies. Same happens on Rumble. Or people being lazy, just doing 24/7 streams with their old content. Shutting down the chat only for subscribers. Nobody's chatting because they have no subscribers because their content is shitty and lame anyhow. And they're being dicks and about that when they're going to be questioned and so on and so forth. But on Rumble, at least you can still use freedom of speech very broadly and widely. Have you already talked about how awesome PlayStation is yet? No. We're gonna talk about how PlayStation is sometimes Sony is a little bit stupid. I have already submitted a scan of my balls verifying my age. You and your ball scans. For some reason, he is requested by his hospital visits for ball scans. Christian's reaction is way different though. These days, absolutely, Big Z. But depending on how much power certain clerics have, they fucking burnt you on the stake in certain time frames in history. If you said anything wrong, like it is heresy, it is declared heresy, yeah, you might be dead next day. You might be dead. Keep in mind, the Muslims have like 6.5, 7 centuries a delay of everything. Very simple. Why are you so far down? Oh, what is wrong? Come on, Brave. Now on YouTube, you can't even hum part of a song and they'll shut you down. For the most songs, they will just claim like the whole video is is theirs. YouTube is still gonna make money, by the way, with all those things, what is published, as long as a claimant, as long as a copyright holder doesn't demand for it to be deleted. YouTube is still on the safe side in that sense. They're gonna make still ad revenue. But yes, if you're humming in the background and the algorithm just can figure it out that you're humming, I don't know, Kate Bush with running up the hill or what the fuck ever, they're gonna find out. Valve is forcing Microsoft to make significant improvements to Windows Gaming Performance Report. It might still be the overwhelming favorite when it comes to PC gaming, but there's no arguing that Microsoft has allowed Windows to get worse and worse over time. It's accelerated a migration to Linux, especially with Valve's efforts to streamline gaming through continued work on Proton and Steam OS. Microsoft understands it's behind and reportedly has a plan to catch up. A report by Windows Central details that Microsoft is calling Windows K2. It's not a standalone version of Windows that is meant to replace Windows 11, but rather an initiative that will slowly roll out significant changes to the operating system in a bid to reclaim customer trust and overhaul many key aspects that have become pain points over the past few years. A few years, I would say, the last decade at least. I kind of was okay, sort of, with the window gaming on Windows Live or whatever it was called, where certain games had this, you needed to log in over the Windows Live, gaming live client. But that was it. That was pretty much it. You did just log in and you could have played the game on over Steam then. That was it, like one additional client. But yes, over the last decade, that changed dramatically. More and more Microsoft gaming, Microsoft Xbox gaming. Now it's just Xbox. Yeah, it had become really a pain in the ass for regular gamers, at least, who just wanted to game, Gaming is unsurprisingly a big focus for K2, with Microsoft reportedly acknowledged that SteamOS is now the benchmark it needs to aim for. The report doesn't go into detail, but mentions that Microsoft is looking to bridge the performance gap between Windows and SteamOS in 2 years, when comparing performance on identical hardware. That's a good target, especially considering how many of SteamOS performance wins are coming from Windows games running through Proton's translation layer, something that is meant to traditionally negatively impact performance, not improve it. Yeah, actually, that's very true. Like, how can it be that it has better performance or an additional layer of like translating the code into another like subsystem? Usually, that gives you less performance, but Valve is just doing, I guess, an amazing job in figuring out certain codes of games better than the game producers for Windows. The report doesn't mention any specific changes to the Xbox app, which itself have been designed recently alongside the release of the ROG Xbox LEX, but does not note how many core features in Windows will contribute to faster, more fluid feeling operating system. These include speed enhancement to File Explorer and completely rewritten Start menu that will remove ads, prioritize local files and applications during searches over web results. Well, there is your biggest mistake in the first place you made. I kind of loved the Windows 7 search. It worked very well, I think only XP might have been just straight to the point what you're searching, those files and those items on your system. And it started to get really shit when they did the first web searches with later Windows 7 updates and big packages. Windows 8 was not an improvement in that regard, and Windows 10 introduced that web search bullcrap. I completely turned everything off web search wise. I deleted whatever I could on my systems. And yeah, why you need web searches for local files? That tells you Microsoft is scanning your system all the time. Just a little side note here. So yeah, of course you're going to have better performance if you keep everything local, make an index file, make maybe the index file more structured to search certain stuff easier and faster even. But yeah, why in the first place doing searches over web results? Stupid morons. K2 is also meant to address a system stability, with Microsoft aiming to only roll out system critical updates that require restarts once a month. It will also give users the ability to identify and indefinitely pause system updates and ensure that graphics and audio drivers updates do not happen during regular use. These improvements should start releasing over the next couple of months. Although given that this is more a roadmap than a siloed release, plans and timelines could change at any point. But if Microsoft is aiming to release its next generation Xbox code-named Helix, which they're not going to produce themselves, they are just naming that system of Xbox Helix, You should probably expect to see those gaming improvements sooner rather than later. I mean, I welcome that. I think that's a good news for gamers. If you have better performance, if you can turn off auto updates, why not making? I mean, it's a security issue. If you have less security problems if you force certain updates upon users, but you should give users the ability to turn off any update they want or select certain updates only and such. It worked pretty well on Windows 7. No problems there. It worked absolutely fine. If I didn't want that particular update, I just didn't select it. Very simple, right? But whatever, man, whatever. It's all weird and all stupid. I am fine with my Windows 11 now. I'm using a stripped down version with the LTSC version, which gets rid of all that AI stuff, the Copilot, which is an absolute failure in the first place. Media stuff is not included, and certain other mechanics and tools I never used, like payment services, like additional gaming services. I don't have those things anymore. And I'm fine. My system runs well enough. I'm completely fine with it. And they should give the people always those opportunities. I'm running Windows 10 without a Microsoft account. I loved when Microsoft required an account for Windows 10 extended updates. I use Linux more now anyway. I don't understand why Microsoft is requiring for the extended updates account. But that's also not a really issue for me, at least. I have Proton, and when you have Proton, like the regular Proton subscription, ahoy, Mrs. Sarge. Twitching the pickle. With Proton, I can create aliases, email addresses, meaning with a simple two mouse clicks, I can create a new email that redirects to my normal email on Proton. And if I don't want to receive any new emails there, I just turn that off, and I don't see them anymore in my inbox. Very convenient. You should look into that. Down in the video description is, by the way, a Proton free account link. And if you subscribe to it, I think I'm going to get something. I am not sure. Nobody ever tried it. But yes, wasn't an issue for me. I run the extended support with one of the Proton emails. Just you can be more anonymously in the webs with certain emails, I don't know why my Brave has so issues today. Anyhow, that's bad news for certain people. For Nintendo fags, where's El Mascarado? Where's El Mascarado when we need him to point with the fingers at him? Can we call Big Zed a Nintendo fag, though? Can we? Are you a Nintendo fag? Nintendo fags, be aware. Amazon shoppers may now need to watch out for fake Nintendo Switch 2 cartridges. That's the cartridge in question of one user. And you see, it's just plastic. It had some metal pins, but they were ripped off by taking out the little cartridge. We have a new warning for you regarding the second-hand Nintendo Switch 2 games sold on Amazon, which can actually break your system. Attention has been brought to Rizetaria user Jokir, who picked up a Pragmata through the retailer's warehouse section. Although purchasing the game this way can save you a bit of cash, it's not without some risks. After trying to play Pragmata on their system, Jokir tried removing the cartridge, but was unable to do so. They then tried to pry it out and seemingly broke some pins while trying to remove it. UrhG tried loading up other games after that, but didn't have any luck. After looking at it further, the game card was basically an empty shell and was missing the insides of the game, which is why it may have got stuck. To put it another way, the copy sold here was not a real thing. Oh, no, you don't say. Thank you for pointing that out. It was a fake, but that may not have been immediately noticeable. If you do choose to buy a Nintendo Switch 2 game this way, we suggest being extremely careful. In some ways, this sounds similar to what Nintendo Switch dealt with it in the past, with which they'd buy physical copies, but no games were included. Instead, googly eyes were found inside the box. We have more on that here. We're not gonna look on that. That's nothing really new news. Like those scams, even happens with regular happened with regular CD-based games. It happened even way back in the days with regular Nintendo cartridges and such. Rarely, because back in the days you had your certain wall, I guess, your Walmart destination where you buy your games or whatever, and those usually don't acquire like copies from uncertain sources in China. They usually bought those things from Nintendo directly, like you do it on Amazon too. Actually, don't try to save $2-3 and just overlook also the ratings on certain sellers there. Otherwise, it's your own fault too, by the way. If you don't keep your eyes open to check out what you're buying, you kind of deserve to be scammed in many regards. Not always, but in many regards. And I think if you own any original games, you kind of immediately feel and see like the difference for if the game is just a cheap knockoff piece of plastic with maybe some metal pins. And it looks like even here it's a little bit mismatched, the sticker on this piece of plastic. That should be a sign. That should also should be a giveaway that it's probably something shady with it. But yeah, but if you're a retard, I guess you deserve to be scammed in some way. I mostly play Nintendo, so you're a Nintendo fact too. No problem. Sarge is on his way home and listening in the car. Did he go buy some creamer for you, Mrs. Sarge? No Switch 2 for me yet. There's more data stored on those googly eyes than actual Switch cartridges. I think that's a little bit overestimated. Wait, why do I have that link twice? We don't need it twice. But yes, keep an eye open, just in general. Check like reviews. If it's not sold by Amazon or shipped by Amazon, check out those reviews. If you have like the game for $10 less and only one review, and it's a 5-star review, and it's telling you how amazing this retailer is, this warehouse account is, you should be a little bit wary of those things. Oscar and probably cigar bar. I have sometimes good news too. This one is a good news, at least for somebody. Costco makes PC Gamer an unavailable RAM deal they can't refuse. A Costco customer hits the RAM lottery. You never know what you'll walk out of Costco with. It could be a 20-pound bag of rice for $10 US, which doesn't sound super cheap, but I would buy it, yes. It could be, if it's not a GMO rice at least. It could be a 5-pound box of dinosaur nuggets made out of real dinosaurs, as usual, for just $15. Or it could be an iBuy Power gaming PC with an AMD Ryzen 7 9800X 3D CPU, GeForce RTX 5070 GPU, and 32GB of DDR5 RAM for just $1,100, which is a good price indeed. Very, very good price. Right now, at least. That's the situation on the PC Master Race subreddit poster found themselves in this week. I had to instantly buy it. I don't need an upgrade right now, so I'm giving it to a close friend for the same price I paid, which was rough $1,175 after tax. Crazy how I stumbled it into Costco randomly, they wrote. While that's a good deal for the chips, it's especially good for the RAM, which would cost over $500 if purchased separately. Adding in a 2TB NVMe SSD to boot isn't that bad either. Other users speculated about why Costco would undercharge so much for the PC. Maybe it had been discontinued or was just sitting on the shelf too long. The Costco PC gaming lottery works in mysterious ways. It certainly beats dumpster diving for RAM. It does. It's a good deal, and I hope somebody is happy, and somebody who needed right now a PC with very decent GPU, not the highest performing in the CPU, but it's pretty much very in the middle of everything performance-wise. I would prefer the 5070 Ti, just performance watt ratio is best on the Ti, in my opinion. But yes, 32GB of RAM, that's a great deal, man. I don't see why you wouldn't buy it if you need a new PC at this very moment for that price. You're not going to do anything wrong. Even if the mainboard would be a cheap ass, like unknown brand, and with a lame chipset, just the RAM cost alone, like they say, $500. You can't beat this. They also just, like the article says, they speculate on why it's that, but it is right now. Maybe they are gone already. Who knows? Ahoy, lurking while working. Ahoy, Meg. Hello, don't work too hard. It's your fault, Ike. About the scamming, I mean, certain people deserve to be scammed. If you're that stupid and not giving like any thoughts to anything you do online, just be honest to yourself. Ahoy, ultra swine. You need to be honest to yourself. I did also bad purchases in the past because I didn't pay attention to certain stuff. And in that moment, I deserve, very simple, I deserve to be called out and to lose money because I didn't pay attention. It's not like a mystery, because people are going to take advantage of your ignorance. Very simple. PlayStation users report new online license checks, but Sony quells concerns. That was a big issue last week. Everybody was confused, and I think Sony rolled back a little bit on that issue. I think they changed in the background certain mechanics and came out later like, oh, don't worry. I think Sony tried something. They were called out, and now it's better and better situation for everybody. I still don't like that they demand anything like that. For whatever reason, they need to demand that. I am not sure, but yeah, it is what it is. And I'm going to talk how it went. A new quirk has begun affecting PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 owners with digital game purchases. It appears the system's latest updates have introduced a 30-day online license check for digital games, leaving those who have extended internet outages without access to certain games. However, Sony has clarified I think they tried something. I'm pretty sure they tried something here, but the people were just like jumping on the walls, on the fence, and screaming at them, and it had an effect for sure. Same like it had an effect with Discord. Discord still hasn't done this age verification thing, because many people were like, what the fuck is going on here? But it will come. It will come. Absolutely. Sony has clarified exactly how it works, and it seems like most players have nothing to worry about. Several users, including the game accessibility Twitter account Does It Play, have reported that all new PlayStation Store purchases, those made before March 2026, appear to be unaffected. Feature a 30-day timer that shows when you will need to connect to the internet again before losing access. This timer doesn't appear to be visible on the PS5, but according to Does It Play, it is still being tracked in the background. Potential major DRM issues are rolled out by PlayStation and Xbox as well, allegedly. All new PSN purchases now have a 30-day validation countdown. Already investigating to find out more details, is what they said. While unlikely to be a tangible issue for most players, there are definitely use cases that could see a PS4 or PS5 disconnected from the internet for extended periods of time. According to a statement Does It Play gave to Kotaku, the license checks may have been introduced to combat refund scams, but were designed to convert into unlimited licenses afterward. That doesn't sound to me at all like the refund scam. If you're gonna refund the game, I think Sony has still this 14 days anyhow. What does it matter, you know? If you refund it now with this license timer. I don't purchase any game. I mean, I purchased one game on PSN because I had still left over $10 from 5-6 years ago on my account, and I didn't realize I bought Far Cry Primal for my PlayStation 4. So I have this one game on it, but other than that, yeah, I don't buy any online games or any games online on PlayStation. So what does it matter if I have still the 14 days refund time frame? If I have a license also, everything is a little bit strange here, a little bit. They did it because people are buying digital games, not playing them, asking for refunds, then keeping their system offline to play them. That's why they're oh, okay. Yeah, okay, I see what you mean. That makes sense, I guess. So, but the thing is, you're gonna do that only one time, really. You know what I mean? You can't go on with this method, meaning downloading, disconnect on your PC, you go with the refund system through, you know, on the web browser. You're going to get the money back, but they have that one game on your system which is offline. How often can that work? In my opinion, probably maximum only one time. So was that really the case, like happening that often for millions of people? Doubtful. On the other hand, it's also very doubtful that it affects really many people in the first place. Like, how many people are there who purchase the game online in the store and then have for periods of times like 30 days no internet at all and can't play it after that? It must be like a very, very low number overall. But for those people, it's certainly an issue. I'm not going to deny that. But it is a little bit everything a little bit shady what Sony is trying to pull off here in general. That appears to be the case with an SIE spokesperson telling GameSpot the following. Players can continue to access and play their purchased game as usual. A one-time online check is required to confirm the game's license, after which no further check-ins are required. At least one major gaming company has wasted no time chiming in, however. Retailer GameStop published its own statement on the situation, emphasizing that this problem will not happen if you purchase physical games. Unless it's Assassin's Creed, Black Flag, Resynced. Then you need online anyhow. Funny. Game DRM has been a continuous issue for years, particularly with the launch of Xbox One back in 2013. Originally, plans were in place to allow for users to install physical games to their systems and then no longer need the disc instead. It would require online license checks. This didn't go over particularly well, as you might recall, and Microsoft ultimately opted for a system much like the Xbox 360, but not before Sony mocked it with a cheeky ad of its own, which we are not going to check out right now. You're going to have still that issue, though, with Xbox One. I just purchased a used one 3 months, 2 months, something like that ago. I plugged it in. It was like reset, hardware reset there. And you can't move on with the setup without an internet connection, just for the system. And it's going to download additional stuff even after the reset. So yeah, just on the hardware level, it's still the case with Microsoft and Xbox One. Pointing out. If the license is downloadable, it's permanent. Still better than Denuvo. I mean, I don't know how many games still have something else in the background, Denuvo-wise, maybe on PS5 stuff. Hard to say. PS4 is still kind of a loop in a backdoor in that sense. You can soft jailbreak it and just load games on it. But I'm not going online with my PS4. Just pointing that out. But yeah, even with PS4, the first time you're gonna use any game, you need at least to be online once to activate the drive, the Blu-ray drive, because some Blu-ray license is connected to it. And ahoy, El Mascarado. Hey guys, just got back from having lunch with Datham. Good for you. He loves his trannies in Los Angeles. Online downloadable, but not licensed. And DI hire. Oh, DI hire too. Is it that tranny, the black tranny in the wheel, in the electric wheelchair, and who had the big attention in the Met Gala? What? Met Gala is absolute degenerate fucking shit. I don't know why I was spammed on X the last few days with this nonsense. Nobody cares really. With those elite high society, all stupid costumes, bullcrap, showing you like the middle finger to the plebs. Cardi B being, I think fucking ingestions. Being literally the inside of an asshole. Great choice, Cardi B. I think you are an asshole. Good choice. Whatever. Did you set the Xbox as your home Xbox? No, because I'm not playing it. I don't have any Xbox One games. Not one. I just wanted the hardware before it gets too scarce and not being available anymore for an okay fair price. I tried to play like the original Halo and Halo 2. It refused that. I was disappointed. I hoped like it would allow me to play those at least. But yeah. It's like meditation. Keep cool, calm, and collected isn't easy. People like you, jailbreak is why we have to have these checks. Just saying. No. No, it's not. It's not people because of people like me. The jailbreak community is because they started to lock down their systems. It's the other way around. Sony, in particular, got the biggest. Probably it's not the biggest anymore, but the first really big network hack. Like all the emails, all the things were exposed because some hackers were super pissed at Sony locking down the PS3. No more Linux. You, as a Linux fanboy, should be outraged about that more than anybody else. No more Linux on PS3. Some people were super pissed. They gathered together, made hacker groups, and fucked the Sony network big time. And it's because those companies start that shit, not because I'll jailbreak my console. And what I played so far, I own those games too. No, but I have seen one of those security for Metro. Oh yeah, you talked about that. No, it's not about me. I hate that. PS3 used to be the most open console of all times. Yes, yes. Many universities bought like PlayStation 3 in bulks because the CPU is still super powerful. If you can utilize all the cores and the subcores, it's a little bit brutal to program, as far as I heard and understood. But it's still a very powerful CPU, and many universities bought like hundreds of PS3s, loaded up Linux on it, and used it as a network utility, as a network tool to do mass scale like computations. Just saying, no, it's not about me and piracy and fraud. There's no fraud happening. Like I said, bitch, those games I played so far on my soft jailbroken PS4, I have on disc. So shut your mouth. You
liar whore, and you know it.
And he knows it. And they're not losing any money if somebody just jailbreaks their property. Haste. My property. What happens if you root your device, your smartphone? You're doing the same. Shut up. Was I done with this? Yeah. So I just think Sony backed down on this issue. Probably it wasn't a little issue, just some slider or some switches in their whole system about when to purchase and all that. How it works now with this license stuff is kind of simple, or simplified now at least. All games before March 2026 don't need to be activated and the license unlocked in that sense, right? You can play that offline. They will obviously never do anything, really. All the purchases before March 2026 are cool. When you buy a game from now on, pretty much, it's going to have a timer on it, on your purchase. 30 days, you need to be at least one time online with your system in the PlayStation Network, activate the license, and you're good. You can then go offline with the game and play it forever on your system so far. How this will affect like the refund things, I'm not sure. Maybe they're going to require you, if you want a refund from now on. That was I haven't seen any news about that, really. They might require you in a refund scenario to go online again, to flag like your system or at least that game, that ID of the game in on your PS4, like with refund, and then you're gonna get the refund. Probably it's gonna work like that, most likely. Hard to say because nobody really talked about the refunds. At least I haven't seen any news about that. But you purchase the game and you don't go online after 30 days from your purchase on. The timer runs out and you're not going to be able to play the game anymore. That's what's going to happen. It doesn't mean like your game is just going to vanish from your library online if you check it over your browser on your PC. It's not going to vanish there from your purchases. You just need to go later on online again to activate the license even after those 30 days, and you're going to be good and can play it. So why they really do all that stuff is unknown, really. According to Haste, it's because jailbreaking is happening because of people like me. I don't believe it. I think Haste is full of it, like Sony, but whatever. It's a 40-day temp license. Then permanent license is downloaded. The license certificate is a temp certificate. It's 30 days though from the purchase. It's your fault, like on some issues. And then an updated license is downloaded in the background. It works sleep mode. Oh yeah, you don't need to go into a menu and activate it manually. You just need to log in. I admit jailbroken PS4, and yes, it's piracy that causes changes like this. No, you're talking out of your ass. You have zero evidence. You're just trusting Sony, the guys who locked down their PS3 whole thing in the past, like they are not full of it. I don't know why. You can now install Linux on your PS5, transforming it into a Steam machine. Sort of. Fans of the PS3's infamous Other OS feature, which was axed from the console, leading to a class action lawsuit, may be excited to learn there's now a way to install Linux on your PS5. We saw footage of buffing Andy Nguyen's custom installation earlier in the year, where he managed to get GTA 5 running with enhanced ray tracing at 60 FPS via Ubuntu. And now he's shared the installation steps on GitHub, so you can try it out yourself. While he says there's no risk to your hardware, obviously approaching this with caution if you do decide to give it a go. The catch is you'll need a disk-based console running firmware version 3 point whatever and 4 point whatever. There's no support for the latest 5.xx version of firmware iterations or the older 1 and 2 builds right now. It's also worth noting that this is a soft mode, which means it will be wiped with each reboot. Nguyen is working on a way to retain the Linux install in rest mode, and says the feature may roll out in the future. For now, though, be aware you'll need to reinstall the OS each time you power cycle your system. Output at 1080p, 1440p and 2160p is supported, but only currently at 60 Hz. Again, the dev is looking into expanding support for 30 Hz and 120 Hz. Obviously, this is something that will only really primarily appeal to tinkerers. But if you have the requisite hardware running the right firmware version and you want to give it a try for yourself, you can find all the information you need on GitHub. Again, links all down below. For special Nintendo facts and Linux facts, I mean, only actually. Alright, John. I heard liar whore as I was parking in the garage. Perfect timing. Piracy has consequences, but not those consequences we just talked about. This license stuff has nothing to do with piracy, really. You know that. I hope you know. Did I hear ray tracing? Oh yeah. With this Linux, yes, you can have GTA with ray tracing. When game publisher grills Sony on why is their system blown open and what they are doing to rectify that, they have to make changes. I don't give a shit what publishers want, Hayes. You should know that. No publisher has a bigger say than the customer in general. Why you think I love to buy games on GOG? When I have the opportunity and the funds are there and the game is right now cheap, available in a sale, I'm going to buy usually games on GOG. DRM free, not with any license issue and all that. 30 days of refund. They obviously it is not about fraud in general. It's not about really publisher what they want. It's obviously about having customer service, real customer service. So GOG is the perfect example that it can work. They are publishing more and more completely AAA games new on day 1, 2. Not all of them, of course, but certain publishers have come to that mindset, and they obviously put some mind virus in your mind about they being like the all saying factor here. Just they have to say, and the customer is like, yeah, if they are pirating our game. That is is not a new issue. That is a long running discussion, and GOG is just the example that they are all full of it. All those publishers who demand those stuff at Sony directly. Of course, Sony is a business. They want to have as many games as possible by as much publishers as possible. And when they're not going to have the certain games on it, and they are, of course, going to do according to the requests by the publishers. That doesn't mean it's right or wrong in the first place. But blaming like people who have jailbreaking system and because I find that not cool. Publishers don't work for you. No, they do. The publishers absolutely work for me. I'm the guy with the money. A publisher who doesn't work for the customers is not going to stay too long in business. Let's put it that way. Certain publishers go a little bit too far and fuck up like the customer trust. No, they absolutely work for me in the end. Because the value of the company as a publisher, usually when they are publicly traded, which we come in a few minutes here, to GameStop, they need to contribute value for the customer. The customer puts the value on their purchases. So if the publisher says like, yeah, it's just us, we are just here for ourselves, it's not gonna work for too long. Look at Ubisoft. Look at Ubisoft. Pretending to their shareholders all the time like everything is cool and who cares about the players, who cares about the customers. Let's just pretend, keep on pretending for now a decade, everything going slowly down, and this last 5 years was an absolutely shit show for them. How well was the not working for the customer going for them now? So yeah. Come on, browser. What's wrong? Brave behaving stupid. Anyhow. Speaking of publisher and producers, Xbox hardware revenue drops 33% year-on-year during Q3. Microsoft has published its third quarter results, reporting a 5% decrease in Xbox content and services as a significant 33% drop in hardware revenues. Yeah, because they are not producing hardware anymore, so they don't care. They pretend they care, but they don't care. For the 3 months ended March 31st, 2026, revenue 82.9 billion, up 80%. That's whole Microsoft, not Xbox. More personal computing, including Xbox revenue, 13.2 billion, down 1%. Operating income, $38.4 billion, up 20%. Net income, 31.8 billion, up 23%. They're doing good business, I guess, but for how long? I don't know. Probably most of their income is actually like server related. The highlights: Microsoft Cloud drove third quarter growth, generating over $54 billion due to strong demand for Azure and other first-party AI application and services. Intelligent Cloud revenue rose 30% to 34.7 billion. Azure and other cloud services grew 40% year over year, exceeding expectation. Well, that now makes all sense because why the Microsoft invested last year almost $100 billion in AI infrastructure. They saw what's coming. I mean, they need still about 5 years or so till everything is paid off of the investment at least. And from then on, the money is just flowing. But in the meantime, they need to acquire new stuff. Never forget that. Where was I? Microsoft AI business reached an annual run rate of over $31 billion, increase of 123%. Overall gaming revenue fell 7%, while Xbox content and services declined 5% year over year compared to a prior year boosted by first-party content, which they are not producing anymore for the Xbox hardware exclusively. That might change though, according to the new CEO. Xbox hardware revenue dropped 33% after price increases for Series X and S consoles in the US last year. Prices increased by $20 to $70 across the hardware range. Despite lower content and hardware revenue, Xbox achieved record monthly active users and streaming hours this quarter. During an earnings call, CEO Satya Nadella said Microsoft was doing the foundational work required to win back fans and strengthen engagement. Just corporate dev talk here, really. Using words nobody cares for. Across its consumer business, including Xbox. In the near term, we are focused on fundamentals, prioritizing quality and serving our core users better, said Nadella. You also see this in Xbox, where the team is recommending to our core fans and players and shaping the future of play. Last week's Game Pass changes are one example of how we are staying responsive to customer feedback. These changes including price reduction for the top-tier Game Pass subscription and the removal of all of Call of Duty from day one launch. Game Pass Ultimate decreases from $29.99 to $22.99 per month, and PC Game Pass was reduced from $16.49 to $13.99. I mean, big deal. They increased it last year pretty much, like you see here in the next paragraph, in the next sentence. The recent price cuts did not fully offset the 50% increase from October 2025. Game Pass Ultimate was previously $19.99 on console and $11.99 on PC. So they increased it like a whole lot more last year, towards the end of the last year, and now decreasing it while they pull out the Call of Duty from day one on Game Pass. meaning they are offsetting a big factor in the cost. Why many people probably still just got the Game Pass, the Ultimate and the PC Game Pass for Call of Duty, to have it every day on day one, like, and anytime something is going to be released. Now that's offset, and you're just going to pay less on subscription based. So you're going to buy just the game separately also while having the subscription to play online stuff. Big deal there. Yeah. I get threatened like a Pakistani. How is a Pakistani be threatened? His mustache has ascended to a higher plane of existence. It's transparent now. No, it's just gone. How soon until Japland trip? Next week. Colombian Nutella running Microsoft Colombian Nutella into the ground with his Windows 11 updates. Not according to the revenues. Microsoft overall, like I just said here, doing very well. But yes, they are like obfuscating the numbers for the gamers, at least. Like last year increasing it a whole bunch, now decreasing it a little bit to show like, yeah, we care for the players. Look how much we care for the players. And don't mind the 50% increase last year, at the end of last year. Now 6 months, 7 months later, we're just going to decrease it. Pull out the one main aspect of the whole Game Pass, like the Call of Duty franchise completely, for the day one launching. I mean, who is going to be like played here, really? Not me. I'm not paying him anything. I'm not caring for Xbox at all, really, for the online subscription part. But some people might be played dumb. I don't know. Yeah. Microsoft expects Xbox content and services revenue to decline by a low single-digit %, while hardware revenue is projected to decrease further. Yeah, as usual, I'm telling that every time since I saw those certificates last year, since they showed like the Asus Ally handheld and their whole system about, yeah, it's gonna be everything on Xbox app anyhow. They're not gonna be in the hardware business, really. They showed too often now. So of course it's gonna decrease further because you're not producing it yourself. Those people, man, you just can't trust Microsoft and Xbox, at least. So we had changes with Xbox just recently. We have a new CEO. The old CEO Spencer is gone after 4 years being CEO. The Xbox president also gone, which was Bond. Her name was Bond, also gone. Now they just got this very young new CEO, and she's doing all the work for the players. Trust her, bro. She's gonna save everybody. Before we continue with more Microsoft or Xbox news, let's have some nicer news. Clamshell handhelds based on the Commodore 64 and ZX Spectrum are coming later this year. I never owned a Commodore or a Spectrum. I think John Thunder owned a ZX Spectrum in his communist days. What was it in the communist days? I don't know. Two handheld systems based on the Commodore 64 and ZX Spectrum are set for release later this year. Retro Games Ltd., which specialized in mini and full-sized modern recreation of the home computers like the Z64, Spectrum, Amiga, and Atari 400, has teamed up with Evercreate company Blaze Entertainment to create the handhelds. Titled the C64 handheld and the Spectrum handheld, both devices are coming in October at a price of 110 British pounds and 130 British pounds each, which is roughly about $180 US, and that must be about 210-ish, something like that. There are also a collector's edition available from Funstock, which cost 130 British pounds and 150 British pounds, and include a hard shell carry case and specially created Crash or Zit Zap magazine. Yeah, and further down you have here all the technical specs. I think the battery is very low for 3 hours only. You should have done more on that. It's gonna run all those old Spectrum and Commodore games fine enough. Quad core, 1.2 gigahertz. Maybe the RAM should have been bigger, but it's gonna emulate it fine. It's gonna emulate it. Oh yeah, that Spectrum played on that as a kid before having a PC. It was exactly after the communist days. I had a 64. 1990 was my first ever game played on the Spectrum. It was called Bomb Jack. 89, the communism has fallen. Yeah, people in Romania had enough. They just booed the dictator. That was funny. The dictator was like, oh, okay, well, I guess my time is over. Steam pirate game Windrose sales passed 1.5 million copies sold. Dev confirms first big content drop details. Windrose looks just visually fine. It has its issue with hardware, with certain hardware. We're gonna come to that in a second here. Visually, just like graphically, it looks fine. Not my game though. I'm not a big pirate guy, so I don't care for the pirate stuff. But it is having big success. 1 week, roughly 1 week, after 2 weeks, now 1.5. 1 week it was 1 million already sold in the first week, now 1.5 million. A great milestone, and that's how you report if it's a real success of a game. Any game for that matter. You report the sales number, especially when it's over 1 million in not even 2 weeks. You're going to report on it. I have to remind everybody about certain games in the past. We still don't have real sales numbers of Assassin's Creed George Floyd Edition. We have kind of a sales number since the last big earnings call from Sony on Ghost of Nobai. Supposedly, after 2 months, finally they cracked 2 million sales. But it was only a side note in an earnings call, which is not a good sign. You might just obfuscate certain facts in the sales here. I don't know. This is how you report success. You will not have any troubles reporting on your success if it's a success. You're gonna scream it out to the fucking world. Look, our game is fucking doing amazing. The team at Kraken Express is incredible, and that's what the developer said. The team at Kraken Express is incredibly grateful to all the captains that have set sail on their pirate adventures so far, and excited to continue growing the game during the journey through early access. Yeah, it's not even like full release; it's just early access, and it's big success already. Yeah, but I hope I didn't know. I didn't. Shit. I should have. Oh no, come back. Pull it here. But it's not without any issues, the whole game, and it's early access. You need to expect certain issues to happen. Pirate survival game Windrose was accidentally killing your SSD. No, you weren't being silly. Pirate survival game Windrose really was making your SSD work way too hard. To quickly fill you in, following the game's early access release last month, many Windrose players found themselves experiencing unusual high input-output workloads in certain situations. As reported by TechSpot, there were times when Windows was reading and writing large amounts of data to disk, with the publication noting there could be spikes of up to 30 megabytes per second when the player's character was roaming around base. Meanwhile, YouTuber Pixel Operative noted Windows could write up to 108 gigabyte an hour to an SSD, which could wear down which wears down the disk and the hardware. That should not be the case. A game should not need to write constantly on the disk if it's already loaded, installed. It should be only reading for the most part from it. Why it would need to write that amount of data all the time is a little bit beyond me. In layman's terms, and just like any tool such as mobile phone battery, the more usage an SSD gets, the more it gets worn down, until eventually it dies altogether. In the case of Windows, the game was forcing players' SSD to do way too much work, and many worried this would result in damage to their hardware. Yes, if let's say you love this game, let's say you got it on day one early access release, and you played it like roughly on average 4 hours a day, with that amount of data writing on the SSD, that's not good for the SSD. It wouldn't be such a big issue for a hard drive, a spinning drive, But for an SSD drive, yeah, that's not good, because it's gonna just fill up all those cells on the chips, and it's gonna die eventually. Because SSDs have only such a big amount of data storage cells they can write in. After that, it's just going to be more and more difficult for it to write over it, pretty much. So yeah, 108 gigabytes per hour. If you play like the game 6 days a week for 4 hours, that's a whole lot of usage. Only for this game. The rest of your Windows system, or whatever the system you use, is also writing all the time on the disk, updating certain stuff. So that is kind of unacceptable. Thankfully, though, these issues should now be a thing of the past, as Windows developer Kraken Express released a patch which, among other things, fixes unnecessary CPU usage on idle servers and clients, as well as reducing the disk usage during gameplay. Yeah, I hope you reduce it like to maybe, I don't know, 5 gigabytes per hour writing, and still that would for me be in general way too much. Like I said, when you install a game, it should be only like writing again on saves, meaning on your save files, when you save the game and exit the game. Other than that, I don't see why the game needs to write that much back to the disk. I really don't understand it. Not that much, 30 megabytes per second. No, that's quite, that adds up. In 1 minute, 30 megabytes per second, that adds up. Why is it writing that amount? We can do just a very, very basic calculation, on my example. Let's say you have 108 gigabyte times 4 hours per day, right? Times 6 days in those weeks, times 2. That's just writing 5 terabyte roughly. If you play that amount, I just assumed 4 hours for 6 days since release. That's just 5 terabytes just for this one game. That's gonna wear down your hard drive. So yeah, I don't see why a game needs it. But then again, it's early access. That's why early access games are there, to find out those weird behaving of certain games. It can be just a bug. I remember the bug of New World, the Amazon game, which was kind of a big success when it was released. For the first year at least, was pretty big. And certain GPUs were overloaded. And I don't even remember the brand exactly, but they were overloaded. And I think it was the 3090s or something like that from EVGA, maybe, that had some issue with how the game reads and loads data, graphical data, through the mainboard, and like the plug got really fried. The infamous power plug on the GPU. If you didn't plug it in very smoothly, it just melted that plug, especially on those GPUs. And 3090s were even back then $1,000 to $200 when it was released. The GPU was not a cheap thing. You might still pay that amount these days, though. So certain games just don't work very well with every piece of hardware in everybody's computers. So that reminded me a little bit of that. But that's how early access works. You are a guinea pig pretty much, and you pay to be a guinea pig, and they're gonna be like very specific about that early access stuff, and it's on your own risk a little bit for sure. It depends on if you want to have fun or not with it for months and months. It's gonna be worth for you maybe that tagging price. And let's say you play this game like for a few months with that amount. It's gonna wear down your hardware. They would have to write a shit ton of data on the SSD for it to go out. Yeah, I made just a little example with the writing. It's just 5 terabytes if you played that amount, I assumed. That's not insignificant, dude. 5 terabytes just for this one game in 2 weeks. What is that? These numbers explain why Sony is stopping porting PS5 games to PC. Yeah, I mean, it's not just the numbers though. It's really no wonder Sony is backing away from bringing its single-player games to PC. We felt for a while that the novelty of the platform's oldest ports has been wearing thin, but now we have Ampere estimates to back up the theory. And honestly, they are not particularly pretty. The game business published the following launch month sales data for a number of Sony first-party games, and it all makes for eye-opening reading. Ghost of Tsushima, 710,000 sales. That's all PC, like I said. God of War Ragnarok, 300,000. Marvel Spider-Man 2, 260,000. Horizon Forbidden West, 230,000. So Sucker Punch Open World did fairly well then, but the other 3 sequels listed performed poorly. The game business points out that God of War Ragnarok had 6.9 million players on PS5 and PS4 at launch, so that 300k is a drop in the ocean. Of course, the counterpoint to this would be that it took almost 2 years for the title to be ported to Steam, but therein lies the dilemma. Sony is not stupid. Now we can argue on that, that's why I marked it here. According to Haste, Sony is super duper smart though. Marathon proves me right though, that Sony is pretty stupid. And we come to Marathon in a second too. And we'll know that it could increase the sales of these PC ports if it launched them day and date with a PS5. But the company is in the business of selling consoles, and that kind of approach would have a profound impact on its tried and trusted business model. Yeah, but less and less exclusives are gonna be being shown the last 3 years, even for PS5s too. And it's not a sign that it's not would not work, because Ghost of Tsushima is a good game. It's sold fairly okay. It could be better for sure. And what about the other games? God of War, the first one. What about Marvel Spider-Man, the first one? What about Horizon for the first one? Those did pretty well overall. You know, just pointing that out. Maybe the issue why those didn't sell, because after many people learned the first one was cool, people just bought it with the PS5, maybe in a bundle, bought it right away on day one. Those are sequels. Ragnarok sequel, Marvel Spider-Man sequel, Horizon Forbidden West sequel. If they would release Ghost of Nobai on PC, it would probably be in the 50K maximum, something like that. Because we all know how bad those games can be, and having messages in it, and being maybe a little bit too woke, uglifying Aloy in Forbidden West, having all kinds of messages about DEI and that shit in Spider-Man 2. After Miles Morales was in between there. God of War Ragnarok having like black gods in the North. Maybe those are the issues why those games didn't do so well after people learned and spent their money on the PS platforms. Maybe that was the real issue here. I might be wrong. I might be super duper wrong. But seeing those numbers, like double amount at least, you know, from the Ghost of Tsushima to the sequels of the other games, is kind of a little telling. Might be a little telling, you know. And I got God of War for PC on GOG, by the way, for what was it, 15, 20 bucks when it was on sale. I got Days Gone on Steam and GOG because I find that game very good. Unfortunately, it will probably never get a sequel, and that's just how it is. But certain games are just good and might sell in the first place well because they are good and not having like messages. The message, like the critical drinker says. The message. Stupid. Anyhow. And yeah, I mean, they are in the business of selling hardware, but you can sell only that amount of hardware, you know, to everybody. Not everybody is a haste and buys a PS5 and a PS5 Pro. If they did PC ports on day one as console, they would have day one piracy. No. They will pull a fucking Denuvo shit. That's not the issue. You can have Denuvo all over the places. And I don't know about I'm absolutely okay with exclusives on the consoles first, and maybe a year later on PC, just to fix bugs and just to make it run really well. It's possible, you know, to have successful games. Same success was with Death Stranding. It did well on PC, the first one. The second one, not that much, because too much female energy in the second one. That was not the problem for me. I enjoyed the game just as gameplay wise, the second one. But many people were not super happy about the too much female energy, because you had like a trio in your base, pretty much. So that might be an issue, you know, that you can't sell that much games because too many messages, as usual. Best exclusives are Nintendo exclusives. Yeah, I mean, Nintendo will just sue you out of existence if they find out that you have an emulator run. the Nuvo gets cracked. Depends on what version. The Nuvo can go to the bit level of encryption and all that nonsense. That's why you don't have certain games still really working well. Black Myth, Kazan, the first Berserk, still no reliable cracks out there. Visor, you can have it like in a subsystem on your, just opening the floodgates of your system. Sure, go with that. I did Death Stranding. I would buy Death Stranding. I have the first one. I bought that. I had it played, the first one, on Game Pass actually, and then later on got it normally. They just need to release it for a fair price on GOG. I don't care. Haste is a fucking sellout to the publishers. It's crazy. There's this guy, voice 38, that cracks the Nuvo. RE9, Doom, The Dark Ages, Black Myth. It's not one guy. It's a group. Black Myth, Wukong, they have the Nuvo but got cracked. They found holes in the Nuvo because of the hypervisor. As soon as they manage to download the game, install it, they have to purchase the game usually regularly on a very singular machine, make a hypervisor version out of the whole machine, and this way they can crack it. Maybe. You have Kazan as a hypervisor version too, but it's still not cracked. It might come. They might find a way. Black Myth is not working. I don't know that much, at least not on my machine. So the Nuvo crack, pretty brutal overall. And I mean, if they want to spend like millions and millions on those DRMs, go for it. I'm just not gonna buy it. I played Kazan, the demo. I kind of like it. It's in my alley. Usually not a big Dark Souls, not a big Souls-like guy, but because they demand it to be like online all the time, fuck that shit. Very simple. Hayes doesn't want me to read his stuff about me and pirating. Nintendo lost me with the Wii. I had to go sim for Mary Morgan. Who the heck is Mary Morgan? Who the fuck is Mary Morgan? And does she pack more meat than Ike? Why are you thinking about trannies all of a sudden? These numbers explain. So yeah, I don't think Sony is smart. I think Sony is stupid, and I'm gonna make my case with their Bungie debacle and Marathon in particular. Before we come to that, the RAM apocalypse is not over. Even Apple CEO doesn't expect the RAM memory crisis to go away anytime soon. This rising cost has led to memory shortages, and in April, head of Xbox Asia Sharma, which just became 4 weeks ago, CEO of Xbox, admitted this could in turn lead to a price bump and limited stock where its next-gen console Project Helix is concerned, which they are not gonna produce themselves. How often do they try to convince people with this wording about their next gen? It's not there. Whoever is gonna produce it, it's not theirs. Meanwhile, in February, Valve was forced to revise its plan for its Steam machine and Steam frame. hardware due to global memory and storage shortage caused by massive demand from the tech giants going all in on AI data centers. Which brings me to Apple and comments from the tech giant CEO Tim Cook, as reported by CNBC. Cook recently took part in the company's earnings call where he told analysts Apple had faced supply constraints in the last quarter. We believe memory cost will drive an increasing impact on our business. Cook said, adding to the company will continue, and the company will continue to evaluate this. I mean, you should do that. Evaluate every time, all the time. As such a big tech company about purchasing new hardware, new pieces, components, and shit. Haste, how about you join news next time and you read all the lines when a gay CEO is talking. According to Cook, Apple's revenue grew 17% during the second quarter, which exceeded its guidance despite supply constraints, and the impact was minimal. However, the company had then said Apple will see a big impact on a number of its Mac models the quarter ending in June, given the continuing high levels of demand that we're seeing for memory. Yes, so he just telling us we are gonna pay more for RAM in this year, still way more than it should be. Why Apple hasn't risen in prices for the hardware yet is because they already have high prices and they probably have less impact for the end consumer here, but having less revenue for themselves because their prices are already so high. What's your shoe size, Ike? I have no idea. What was it? Ask Sarge. Sarge might remember because I don't use US numbers. 11 maybe? Was it an 11 or was it a 10.5? Something like that. So don't expect memory shortage go away anytime soon. And we have at least all over the US, just communities and counties just going bulldozing over the will of the people. The people don't want those AI data centers near them because your water is going to be sucked up to cool all those data centers. Your power is going to be more expensive because they are going to get all the cheap bulk electricity deals and all that. So many people are starting to see it more and more and more what is happening in the US, and they don't want them anywhere near them. They don't want it at all, really. But for some reason, the board members of all those towns halls, whatever you call those politicians, they're just bulldozing the will of the people and just sign off a deal with all those companies because work and big money income. Fuck the people and their living spaces. Fuck it that your prices for energy is gonna rise more and more. Beside your price is gonna rise anyhow of the whole situation in the Strait of Hormuz, right? Beside your water is gonna be just sucked up, and you're gonna have less and less supply, and just pay more for your own usage of the water, And it's super loud. Those data centers are super extremely loud, and many people can't open up their windows anymore these days because half a mile away is such a big data center, Acres and acres of data centers are being built constantly. It's not only OpenAI who bought a lot of RAM. It's all those unknown, unspecified, out of nowhere coming up data centers by all those tech giants who don't explain why they need all that. Weirdos. I have no doubt it was still a fine console, but it was so far behind the third-party support console power. Online infrastructure, it was in that gen I stopped by all consoles and decided go PlayStation only. I don't remember though having big issues Nintendo with networking and online playing. Although it was pretty early for Nintendo with the Wii online playing. They had some services with the GameCube, but the first online machine was their Wii. So I'm not having like memories that being a big issue for many people. Although I did still have a DS and DS Lite. I also had Xbox 360, but sold it after 1 year. I don't know if I sold my Xbox 360 or if it broke. 46 euro. Yes. Let's give the machines all of our water. What could go wrong? Yeah, I mean, you're just gonna pay premium prices. The further this issue moves on, and people in New Jersey have limited success, but the town just does a deal outside of the town like boundaries with those companies. Yeah, just to avoid like the new outrage. It's all fucked, man. And it's not an issue about left or right. It's your living space is being occupied, and it's going to be more expensive on all fronts. I'm already in California, and electricity and water is already butt fucking me. That's California. I don't think California is super known. Many are being built in Utah. So there's a big issue about those. Lucky I don't pay for gas. The biggest data center in Canada is being built on farmland right beside my city. I was shocked at how close it is to us. I see 15 new AI data centers are being built in Switzerland. Yeah, but they are, at least like noise-wise, usually they are kind of underground or walled off pretty well. But yes, it's the same everywhere. Because AI needs to be built. The AI god needs to be fucking brought to life. Okay, let's talk about GameStop and how the CEO of GameStop is an absolute dumbass. And I think I have the feeling GameStop is not gonna survive that much longer. We have a little history about GameStop in general. GameStop announces shocking buyout offer for eBay to create a legit competitor to Amazon. The latest chapter in video game retail GameStop's tumultuous story is unfolding, as the company has announced plans to make a deal to buy eBay for $55.5 billion. GameStop said in a news release that it submitted a non-binding proposal to buy 100% of eBay at $125 per share in cash and stock at 50% each. This would be about 20% premium over where eBay stocks was trading on Friday, and 46% premium to eBay's closing price on February 4 this year. That was the day that GameStop started buying eBay stock. Today, it owns about 5% of eBay's outstanding stock. I find it interesting that they point out here a non-binding proposal. Like, yeah, of course it's a non-binding proposal. Either you have the money and buy them right up, or yes, it's gotta be just a fucking, I don't know, suggestion. CEO Ryan Cohen told the Wall Street Journal, "There is nobody who is more qualified based on my experience to run the eBay business," he said. He is very, very confident with himself. And I think he is a little bit full of shit. We're gonna watch a cut down version of the interview where he made those claims 6 minutes about in the next article, on the next YouTube video. eBay should be worth and will be worth a lot more money. I'm thinking about turning eBay into something worth hundreds of billions of dollars, he said. Cohen went on to say, if you can't pull it off, the combined eBay and GameStop could be a legit competitor to Amazon. GameStop as a company has a market cap of around $12 billion compared to eBay's $46 billion. That is right there the first red flag for me. Like it is. What is a good comparison? What is a good comparison? Like I, with way less money than anybody else, telling them, I'm gonna buy you up. Are you okay with it? Just like that. How does that make sense in any world? It's beyond me, but yeah, it's a stupid proposal. If you're like a quarter worth than the company you're trying to acquire, something is stupid and wrong. You might have way more success proposing your status as a CEO, as a new CEO, to eBay directly. But this way, I don't think eBay is gonna go with it. It's gonna get even weirder, don't worry. Cohen said he has $20 billion in debt financing from TD Bank to help get the deal done for eBay. Yeah, 20 billion is a little bit off from 55 billion, just saying. GameStop also has about $8 billion in cash on hand to make up for the difference. GameStop could look for outside funding, including from Middle East sovereign wealth funds, the report said. Middle East sovereign wealth funds. Now, are we talking about Israel directly? Because it's a tech company in GameStop and eBay, pretty much also a tech company on online wholesales, or more or less these days. The auction part is, by the way, pretty small on eBay these days, unfortunately. Or is it going to be maybe Saudi Arabia? Saudi Arabia has tuned it down, the acquisition of certain stuff, because they are not running out of money, but they need to also look over their finances. They can't just buy up everything. Some lunatic comes along and says, "Oh, are you willing to give us 13 billions of your funds to acquire eBay?" Oh, I mean, because I'm so great, I'm so amazing. Me, Cohen. Idiots, man, idiots. WF already told us we are getting data centers whether we like it or not. I'm not sure why this is even a discussion. Yeah, I mean, but still, you have like some resistance from people. They don't want maybe data centers right in their front yard, you know. So you need to fight it. And like I said, that's really not a thing about left or right. Those companies, those giant-ass companies, don't give a shit about your political viewpoints. If they can put it up in your front yard for cheap, and your town sells you out, they don't gonna care at all. Left, right, up, down, green, non-green, especially the Green Party globally are very super silent about not speaking up to those data centers being built. Isn't that a little bit weird? Going to sleep. Take care, guys. Enjoy your Wednesday. Good night. Bye, John. Dream about Cohen here, please. Where was I? In an interview with CNBC, Cohen said GameStop could issue more stock to help pay for the proposed buyout of eBay. Sure. We are just starting, Cohen said. For obvious reasons, eBay is a public company. There's all kinds of perverse financial incentives from the board to the management team. So there's only one way to approach something like this. Yeah. Is he thinking like the eBay board is completely retarded? Like they are not seeing you don't have that value on your hand. You don't have the finances to purchase them, especially with that proposal. eBay is worth 46 billion. Let's say 45 billion just to round it a little bit more. You have, let's say, 15 million, like high rounding, right? Instead of 12 billion only, 15 billion. You are short still two-thirds of the value to propose such a deal in the first place. Do you think that the eBay board is that retarded and thinks like, oh yeah, that sounds great, 55 billion, why not? Let's go with the deal. Then they just sign off not getting that money, and eBay is gonna get worse and worse because he's probably mismanaging. And he most likely would mismanage because you don't do such a proposal unless you're that psychotic and thinking like you're that amazing. Such an ego, such a narcissistic ego can go only so far, man. if it would be like the same worth, two companies, it's a way easier like arguing, but only a fourth of the value, yeah. GameStop is already one of eBay's largest shareholders, already with its 5% position. And Cohen said this means eBay's management has a fiduciary duty to their shareholders to evaluate this proposal. He added, "This is the business. This is a business that is under earning and can make a lot more money, and GameStop is a good blueprint for that." So, I mean, the rest of the article is pretty much the interview. So I guess it's easier, maybe just watch him. Watch him and see how he behaves. And you tell me if that screams energy, if that screams confidence, if that screams like he is valuing himself really, according to his own words. Let's just...
The big deal news of the day, GameStop offering to buy eBay for $56 billion. The stocks are both up big in the last month. In the pre-market, CEO Ryan Cohen saying that combined company will be a real competitor to Amazon. And joining us...
So you see here, they showed just the prices at the very moment, 2 days, 3 days ago. GameStop stock price, almost $26 per stock. eBay, almost $115 per stock. And the less valued and less shared company is buying up the bigger one. How that's possible?
Right now, live and exclusively, is the man himself, Ryan Cohen. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Is it loud enough, guys?
It's great to see you. So, there's so many questions about how this would all work. But before we get to any of that, just give us the backstory here and the wrap.
I usually don't care for like the behavior of people in that sense. They might be nervous, they might be tired because they talked for days and days since they announced certain stuff, had not a lot of sleep. But watch him. Watch him how he really behaves and how he moves his body like slow and...
Rationale behind wanting to go ahead.
Zero energy, zero confidence.
eBay has the second largest commerce franchise, and there's a big opportunity to do something much larger and to pull costs out of the system, as well as accelerate revenue growth and leveraging our physical infrastructure.
I'm not sure how this guy really is in charge and why. Because he just talks like the very basics of economies. In the sense of, yeah, reducing costs and making more revenue, and that's just like maybe you learn in courses, in a weekend course for your own business.
Our focus on collectibles could be a much larger business, but bringing in an entrepreneurial mindset is what I plan on doing into eBay and building something much larger.
Okay, so you've built up a stake in this company already. You've had conversations with the company. You've tried. What's happened here?
No.
I'm just saying, you have the opportunity for an interview. You should have in mind, I'm the CEO of a company who is trying to make it feasible and tell everybody like, I'm gonna be so amazing. I'm gonna make that happen. But his words have no weight. He's not putting any weight behind his words. Not at all. Zero energy, zero confidence. Just basic gobbledygook marketing speech, pretty much for a new company. Like, yeah, it could be way more than it actually is, but I mean, if I am in charge, it's gonna be so great. Like,
We're just starting.
You're not selling.
You're just
That's the
starting.
point.
And one of the questions I had was, why not try to initiate conversations outside of the public sphere before putting this into a, I don't know if we're putting it in the context of hostile necessarily, but unsolicited, if you will.
For obvious reasons. eBay is a public company. There's all kinds of perverse financial incentives from the board to the management team. So there's only one way to approach something like this.
That was like a nothing burger, the whole phrase. He pretty much just said, yeah, eBay is a public traded company, and because it's a public traded company, there are usually just incentives to trade that company. Obvious reasons, right? Sure, but you're not selling shit this way, dude, or buying in this case.
Invariably, the audience
is going to Jensen Wong look with his leather jacket.
For you, given the price tag, $56 billion, given the market cap of GameStop, which is a fraction of that. I know you have this $20 billion financing letter from TD, but sort of walk us through how you could get to that price.
It's going to walk us through in a second here. But again, I just want to remind everybody who is listening and hearing this right now. This CEO of GameStop, he has become CEO in 2021 January. I'm gonna tell you about the history of GameStop. He is telling the whole world pretty much before he went to eBay and proposed that buy off. With the worth of his company, he's CEO of this company, GameStop, $12 billion. And he told the world he can secure additional $20 billion, in the whole deal. Let's say he is gonna manage just to get the whole worth of the GameStop, the 12 billion plus the 20 billion. You're just roughly $32 billion worth. You propose, though, a deal for $55.5 billion buy-up. Yeah, just simply math, you know? You don't need to add all the zeros, just make those 55.5 minus the 32. You're going to be short quite some numbers here. Just keep that in mind.
And how it would work.
It's on our website. It's half cash, half stock, but the details are on our website.
Can you help?
That was his answer. How will you finance? Exactly. Oh, we have it on our website. All the numbers are on our website. We proposed the buy-up, half of it with with stocks and half of it with cash. I mean, even the half of the cash is not there at all. But trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. I can make you bigger. I can make you Amazon competitor.
I've read them, but can you help?
Sorry, I put way too much energy in my moron impression. Sorry.
Help our audience understand them?
Yeah, which part exactly?
The part in where you're gonna get at least 23 more billion US dollars. Where?
Well, I think we can start with the idea that the market cap of GameStop is, call it, $11 billion. You have $9 billion on your balance sheet. Arguably, if you're providing effectively all of your stock, and then the cash that gets you to 20, you have this letter from TD. That's another 20. We're now at 40, but we're still off by, call it, 16. And the 20, as far as I understand, while it's considered a highly confident letter, meaning TD saying they're highly confident that they would provide the financing, it's not locked financing.
Of course it's not locked. That would be a very stupid bank if they already said, like, yeah, no matter what happens, you're gonna get 20 billion from us.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
we're just gonna see what happens. I proposed my thing to eBay. I don't know a lot about CNBC. I don't care either, but he might be a retard and not understanding. But I think he's a finance guy, economy guy, just reporting on stuff, I assume. Even he is like completely perplexed. Like, I'm giving you like a question, you know? I kind of want some material, some answers, how this will work. And he probably knows already, like, oh, you're gonna be so fucked. You're gonna be so fucked. He's lost for words.
I hear you.
I hear you.
understand that. I'm just trying to understand where the rest of the money would come from.
Yeah, tell us.
It's half cash, half stock.
I hear you. I'm just saying that math doesn't get
I think he's not smart.
to the price that you're offering.
Either he is completely on drugs, had maybe the most amazing joint before the interview, or he is completely out of power. He maybe had like plenty of other interviews, like off camera with people. But that's not a good look. That's just not a fucking good look. You're being right now an absolutely dumbass. Show like you have no competence in this matter. Why you are CEO still is in question, at least for me right now. He doesn't want to be in this interview. That could be also a case. Details are on our website. Absolutely, they're on their website. Totally. Don't think he wants the job responsibility, just the money. Oh yeah, we're gonna come back to the other article because he himself, that's what I depicted him as. He himself has a very big incentive to just make money, just magically make money by fake it till you make it, you know. He is one of those persons. We're just gonna go through this little interview and then go back to what it is. Just go to the website. Just go look at the close-up of the guy's eyes. He's lizard people, the guy with the tie. He might have an issue with the eye. Or could it be a lizard?
Right, that's a pretty straightforward question. I don't get it. Like, where's the rest of the money coming from? Andrew laid it out pretty clearly.
Yeah, even the blonde is like confused, like, it's an easy question. Let's add up all those numbers you just pointed out. Let's say at least 16 more billion are missing. Where is that money coming from?
I don't understand your question. We're offering half cash, half stock, and we have the ability to issue stock in order to get the deal done. But
No,
the full
because your
details
company is less worth.
are on our website.
So you have the stock price. That's per stock. That doesn't tell you immediately. Maybe he's got an investor. He's not telling though. He could say it. But he is saying to us he has one investor, this one bank, TD Bank, whatever, 20 billion. That is his investor already. But we are still short 16 billions. So the stock price doesn't tell you the whole story right away, because you don't know how many stocks there are, really. So you're going to have to know how many stocks there are and then just multiply it with the amount of stocks. Same goes for eBay. But they all know like how many stocks GameStop really has and how many stocks eBay really has in general, and how many are on the market to buy up right now and all that stuff. That's how they came to the numbers. eBay is roughly 46 billion and GameStop is roughly 12 billion. I think this guy, either he is drugged up, he is very tired, or a moron. Could be all three above. I'm not saying one is exclusive to the other. Like, could be all three above. You know. But he is right now clearly not communicating at all.
But you're on our air. We thought we'd get...
That is a super awkward fucking interview, man. The interviewer are both very confused, like, can we just have something? You don't need to tell us if you have like already deals and other letters by investors, by which one at least, but can you please tell us like that you have investors who clearly can give the rest of the money if eBay goes with the deal? No.
I don't understand your question.
I don't understand. I can't count
So,
to
Ryan,
six,
sorry,
up to
Lee back at the
60
NASDAQ.
at least.
Basically, you know, you've got 20 billion presumably from TD.
Now we have the third interviewer who's trying to establish here the like a middle ground of understanding. Because maybe there's something they they don't want to disclose right now. But that's the point. It's not helping the price of his company's stock, and you have to be like honest with that. Otherwise, you might have legal issues if you're not going to be honest in the sense of just telling like, yeah, I can't secure the funds, multiple investors and all that. You have to tell that. You don't need to disclose who it is. But you need kind of to tell, especially as a CEO, that everything is in order. You can't just go like with half of it. Meaning telling like, yeah, we disclosed on the website half is in stocks, half is in cash, and our company is that much worth, and we have that much cash. Where is the rest? That's what all those people want to know, and I, frankly, want to know too. It's just interesting. I want to know.
Balance sheet, that's 29. Half cash, half stock. You might issue more shares. That's what you're talking about. So it could be dilutive to current GameStop shareholders. I want to move on, though, in terms of your vision for this combined company, because saying that a combined company could rival the likes of Amazon.
Just go to the website. That's the best I can do.
Pretty high. How do you foresee that happening, given some key differences between your model and Amazon's model? Notably, Amazon has a huge logistics hub, able to offer all this other sort of delivery service, and
I mean, that's what eBay has too. The eBay has also partnerships. You can print out like a delivery, what do you call it? Just print out, put it on the package, and it's prepaid. You just call UPS or whatever company, and they're gonna pick it up and all that. So they have their infrastructure with their partners too. So he's not gonna change anything there. Not being able, at least.
There's an opportunity to build a much larger business, to make the business much more efficient,
Half to a coin.
to accelerate revenue growth. And eBay's a very strong business. You look at GameStop as an example.
Look, if eBay is a very strong business, why would they need you? Ever thought about that? Let's like tune it down to our use cases here in the online world, especially on Rumble. You've seen those guys, I'm pretty sure. It's like those Indian guys who come into your chat or into your comments. You have a great channel there. I love the content. Everything is cool. You have great energy. But I, with 0 followers, with 0 fucking revenue generating evidence, I can make your channel so much bigger. Just write me an email on Discord. Write me on Discord. And totally not scamming Indian 34566. Right now. We can make your channel blow up. That's how I feel about this guy right now. Just on a bigger scale. Like he tries to scam it. And again, we're gonna come to the incentives on his part here.
Example, GameStop, very difficult business. Should have been bankrupt multiple times over, and it's doing okay. It's making a few bucks. eBay.
I think he doesn't realize what he just said there. Haste! 5 gifted, giving to Sarge, Ouch, Cocteau, and El Masquerado. Thank you very much, bitch. I'm still gonna pirate games. Still. Just because to fuck you over. And you and Sony. But that's how this guy feels. And now he just spit it out. A Freudian little slippery there. eBay is a great business. It's doing very well. GameStop is okay. We almost went bankruptcy multiple times. Sure, why not trust this guy? I don't think he did a good job, man. I think he damaged. Maybe that was in intention for whatever reason. Who knows?
Is in a very, very strong position, but it could be in a much stronger position, and it could be a much larger business than what it currently is.
That's how he wants to water the mouth of eBay. eBay is great. It's good business. GameStop is doing okay. We went almost bankruptcy multiple times, you know. But eBay could be a way better place with me. Let me just buy you up with air money, you know, with some Hawk Tour coins, like Ouch My Junk proposed. Just trust me, bro, man. Okay. So now let's go back to the article. Where was it? Because he had some incentives for himself, which makes, at this point, makes sense why he tries to establish that. Cohen would personally stand to benefit in a major way if he can succeed in transforming GameStop's business into a 100 billion behemoth. Earlier this year, GameStop announced a new compensation package for Cohen that would pay him as much as $35 billion if he can reach certain extremely lofty market value and profitability targets, including reaching a valuation of $100 billion. That is the whole story here, really. I don't think he is smart. I don't think he is doing a great job so far. Otherwise, GameStop would be already in a way better position with way more market value in general, if he would be that smart. But that is what is driving him. That is the motivation for him. But not enough to like really make it appealing to eBay. Especially in that interview we just saw. Zero energy, stupid as fuck answers. Go check out the website. Half, you know, shares, money. All cool, man. I don't understand your questions. I don't understand where you get how I should respond to this missing at least $16 billion. Cohen himself owns about 9% of GameStop. He takes no salary or cash bonuses under his employment agreement, along with no golden parachute, the release said. Yeah, I mean, you don't need a golden parachute if you would really reach that amount as a whole company worth. You're just going to get a payout of 35 billion because you're such an amazing dude. You did manage to raise it that much, you know, since you were CEO, since you became CEO in 2021. And the last part I marked here. People have questioned if Cohen will be able to deliver on his promises to help accelerate eBay's business if his deal materializes. He does have a history of success in turning businesses around. Cohen started at GameStop in January 2021, taking the company from an annual $381 million net loss in fiscal 2021 to an annual profit of $418.4 million for the latest fiscal year. Yeah. Now, if you just trust this sentence by itself, you don't know anything about the history of GameStop. GameStop had pretty much in the same time, but he was not the driving factor in this whole thing. Pretty much in the same time he became CEO, GameStop was already almost disbanded completely, going bankruptcy. But for some reason, gamers stood up. Gamer united in 2021, January 2021. There was this issue with Gamer just wanted to save GameStop because for whatever reason they liked probably GameStop, and GameStop was already in this phase of selling mostly fucking Funko Pop figures. You know, I had an article about that long ago, or a news show about that. But gamers saved GameStop from going completely bankrupt by just buying individual shares in masses over Robinhood, the platform, the smartphone app, which you can just buy and sell right away shares and all that of any company or traded on that platform. And they saved the whole company, like literally from something like $3 a share over a 1 week period, up to like 1000% value upgrade, like insane amount. And that shows pretty much in those numbers. It went up and down as usual with those companies. But after 5 years, roughly, it went just from this value, which was the safe value at this point already, more or less in this exact moment, to this amount. And he had no like saying in that Robinhood action. Robinhood even was like, oh shit, why are people buying and saving this company? And they just blocked all trades for GameStop for whatever reason, really. They never explained, they just stopped the trading for GameStop shares because the company was saved by gamers mainly. Individuals, a lot of individuals. He already had shares, about 6% shares before he became CEO, before he was involved in it, in this whole thing. So he's already a billionaire with his Chewy company. I have no idea what this company does. It doesn't care. I don't care either. But he is absolutely a dumbass, in my opinion. For some reason, people gave him money and gave him the position. Maybe because he had by himself 6% of all the shares. Maybe that's the reason why they thought like, oh, this guy must have known something already. But watching that interview we just saw, yeah, I mean, Sarge has been asleep in his chair for a while. Good for him. Jewy? No, it's not Jewy. I wouldn't trust this guy with anything, man. After seeing that interview and that he had no involvement in the saving of GameStop in 2021, just because he became CEO at that very moment, doesn't say and doesn't provide evidence. I tried to find out if he had any like campaign going and telling gamers like nationwide in the US, buy, save us, come on. We can save our safe space of gaming. GameStop, yeah. More Funko Pop. But that's his incentives, man. If he can make the company 100 billion worth, he's gonna get paid out 35 billion. That's his only goal. If you had like the chance really to get that amount of money and you have these incentives, you absolutely have to work day and night as a CEO and put energy in an interview. Prepare a little bit. And not just, yeah, go to our website. I don't understand your question. I don't get your question. What are you asking me? Wait, I have to go full screen. The numbers are on our website. Fucking freak, man. Look, I would be, I would lose my mind if eBay considers that at all. eBay just replied to him, yeah, we're gonna review your proposal. That's the whole eBay response so far. I would be absolutely amazed and would lose my mind if eBay comes out and says like, yeah, we're cool. We are retards too, man. We also don't know how money is being and value is being generated. But sounds legit, man. Your company is only 1/3 valued than ours, but yeah, buy us up. You don't have the money? Doesn't matter. Just buy us up. I mean, we checked your website. We saw the 50-50 share there. You showed us the numbers. Holy shit, man. How do so? I mean, I'm not a fucking finance genius at all. I know how to manage my finances. But how those people get the chance to in such a position is beyond me, man. I really don't understand. If hedge funds are all short eBay, maybe he can turn it around. They will not do that. Why would they do that? They would be retarded just selling off their way more valued stuff for a less value new company. And yeah, you need to do like Ahoy, King of Biltong. You need to do somewhat of a merging call or whatever it is named, like just selling everything at once. And on the same day, you have like the value from $115 at the end of the day, you might have a value of $5 per share because everybody's panicking and just selling. I don't want to lose even more money. Sure, Dan, in that scenario, that might be possible. But yeah, you never know. You never know with those traded public traded companies. You never really know. But if the gap is that wide, chances are very, 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 very small that it's ever going to happen this way. Pragmata 2 might happen, as Capcom calls it, an IP to explore. During a press conference in Las Vegas earlier this week, Capcom's USA's Chief of Operating Officer Rob Dyer revealed that Pragmata is another IP that it can explore in the future. We are to a point now where we've got another IP that Capcom, and God bless them, has an arsenal that we can continue to go down, he said in full. Dyer's comments come off the back of You and Diana Adventure selling over 1 million copies in its first 2 days on the market. It took Capcom over 6 years to reach that point, as the title was originally revealed during the first PS5 showcase of 2020. During that time, the Japanese development team apparently took feedback from the company's American divisions to improve the experience through focus tests and demos. It was worth the effort, concluded Dyer. This is just a success story. I love it because whatever I saw of Diana, this girl is pretty much a drone, but a very smart drone, an AI. But it's in a child body in that sense. It's also learning because it's just has been activated or something. I haven't played it. El Mascarado told like he is gonna buy me the game. Don't do it, bitch. It's so far a very beloved game overall by everybody who bought it. Pretty much everybody loves it, and mainly it gives like dudes like the feeling being a dad, because you have to protect. You're gonna go on an adventure with Diana, with this android, gonna make experiences about the universe and all that, right? And all those little snippets I've seen so far from this game, everybody is very, 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 very happy about the whole theme, and people, mainly dudes, just having dad feelings, like wanting to protect this child and all that. Speaking of that, let me YouTube. Am I logged in on this browser? I should be. I just don't know why Brave has issues. Pragmata, but with Leon S. Kennedy. What? When are you visiting the US? What, me? I don't know. I need a real visa, and right now, since the last happening, I'm not super motivated to go to the US Embassy in Bern and go through an interview and explaining myself. First, next week, just checking out Japan in general. Did it make you want to have a child? Not the game, no. Children are very innocent. So I made like this 1 hour cut. And I mean, just check how Diana, the music is not original, but her dance, just like a happy child dancing. And you have all kinds of moments in this game this way, as far as I understood and was told. Video is doing good so far, about 2,000 views. Just a nice little loop. Of course, some people are going like bananas because why are you enjoying a game with an android that depicts a child? They are not depicting the child in a weird way at all. Capcom is like not that fucking degenerate. They're showing her as a child who is growing, who is learning, who is being attached to the human. The human is attached to her, protecting each other. I really don't understand why some people are having issues. Regular, normal human beings love the game. They are playing it insanely. 1 million copies in 2 days. Big success. Capcom is winning. Not only with this game, Resident Evil 9 doing very well too. Monster Hunter 3 making tons and tons of money too. Capcom, it feels to me like Capcom is the only big developer and publisher the last, I would say, 4 years roughly, that keeps on winning. Yes, they have issues performance-wise with Monster Hunter in certain scenarios, but they are fixing all those issues over time. The listening more or less to the fans and all that. So I don't know, man, why Capcom is one of the few who does like that successfully with multiple IPs, really. You have, of course, like successes with single games, Crimson Desert, Arc Raiders, all those games, or indie games who are one-hit wonder and making tons of money for them at least. But Capcom is, as far as I see, the only big company publisher who does it over and over again, at least the last 4 years. Maybe even longer, Did you make one have a... You're not that kind of immigrant we are trying to keep out. Well, tell that the Chinese fucking border patrol bitch in San Francisco.
Cocksucker, San Francisco.
Instead of buying you Pragmata, I'll buy you your first real meal for Japan. First real meal? What is a first real? I got hopefully not money like cash for just eating stuff and buying certain rare items in Japan. Let's see how smart Sony is. Particular Bungie. Bungie doesn't see Marathon going anywhere. We know where we want to take the story over the next few years. Speaking to Games Radar Plus about how extraction shooters are booking multiplayer trends, Marathon creative director Julia Nardin says, we know where we want to take the story over the next few years, but I don't want to say it's completely locked in, because it's important to us that our players be able to help shape it. For the studio, player input into the narrative is part of the magic of playing a live service game. Yeah, you tried hard so far. I just wanted to point out that Marathon tries to keep relevant themselves. Bungie tries to keep themselves relative and relevant. I mean, not doing super great though. Not doing super great. I want just to show you how the numbers look. And I know Haste was like, but the PlayStation was selling not better. We had those numbers too so far. At least they were leaked out over Circana, I think it was. We just check out the overall numbers here. It doesn't look good. That was the all-time peak on release, the first 48 hours. Not even 90,000 players, concurrent players. And it just declined over time. More and more and more. Now we have an 24 hours all-time peak, about 13,500 players, which is a big number for if you would be an indie company with like not a lot of money behind the whole game. But if it's Bungie with such a game, that's not a good number at all. And the PlayStation numbers are not higher. Go just check out the leaked numbers. I have the bookmark, but I can't fucking put tags in my Brave bookmarks. I hate it. I hate it. Firefox, you can have tags. Anyhow, the game was released 2 months ago, and here are we now. 13,500 concurrent players on a 24-hour. And it's going down and down. I would say in 2 more months, it's going to be below at least 8,000. At least 8,000. As a comparison, another same price extraction shooter, Arc Raiders, is I think the fairest and best comparison. And here's the all-time peak, almost 500,000 players. And it was released roughly 8 months, roughly 8 months ago, but has still almost 84,000 concurrent players in a 24-hour period. Of course, it also declined, like over time, but again, period, four times longer than what is Marathon released, but having almost 10 times, almost 10 times more concurrent players. Well, let's say 8 times. It would be more fair and accurate. But that's how you succeed. Same price game, same type of game, but doing way better. So Sony and Bungie are stupid. They don't do always good decisions. Now, who decided to leak this information? Kind of a hero, but also you might have a lawsuit. You might have a lawsuit if they found out who leaked it. Full Metal Gear Solid 2 source code leaks online on 30th April. The full source code for Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty has leaked online. The files posted to 4chan reportedly include the raw, uncompressed source code for every version up to the PS Vita, as well as 30 plus gigabyte of assets, including unused stuff. You can make a director's cut, a fan director's cut of the game. Metal Gear Solid 2 source code HD version just leaked alongside raw uncompressed Oh, come on, stop it. Or load it quicker. Assets. Yes, it's real. I never thought this would happen. Already fans are building wish lists of what modders could do with access to the source code, including new paths, point of views, VR, ray tracing. Oh, John Thunder would love that. Co-op, or even restoring deleted cutscenes. Although it's unclear if this is possible given the code seems to be from the later HD version, not the 2001 original. As some fans have noticed, the date of the leak, 30th April, is particularly significant to the game's story. In fact, in a bizarre coincidence, I don't think it's a coincidence, the creator of the Metal Gear series, Hideo Kojima, tweeted about the date just days ago, appending a snapshot of Snake himself. In a further coincidence, the code for the HD version was created by a remaster expert Bluepoint, which Sony closed down in March. Some are speculating that the code was therefore intentionally leaked in retaliation, or perhaps someone carelessly discarded a hard drive. Could be, actually, yes, a hard drive, but usually those hard drives are more or less destroyed. I worked at companies where they first put a giant-ass magnet over the hard drive and then drilled through the fucking platters just to make sure you can't do shit with it. So that's how you get rid of certain stuff. If that's it's a discard. Just because it's the company was disbanded and closed down doesn't mean like all the assets, all the information, all the data is going to be also just destroyed. The IPs are still there. And Sony and Konami made, Sony less, but Konami made still the game like Metal Gear Solid Delta, you know, Snake Eater. After all those years, they're not just going to get rid of certain code if they know they have it. I think it was a retaliation process, and Kojima probably knew about that. That's why he probably posted this anonymous post here with just a picture of Snake and the date too, you know. And Kojima had disparted with Konami, the company who made the game. He created the games for them, and they own the IP, so they own like the intellectual property of Kojima pretty much. And he might not have been very, very happy about how they treated him, and maybe he talked to certain people at Bluepoint. So it's interesting. Might something come out of it in the sense of new additions of maybe a PC port, like a native not even reversed because they have the code now, but an optimized version of Metal Gear Solid 2. Would be interesting. Just that everything was leaked, kind of impressive. Usually you have certain videos or certain code snippets, but the whole thing, like multiple versions up to PS Vita, it's fascinating. Valve's Steam controller is already sold out, but there's still hope if you want one. No, there's none. It's a little bit older article. It's from Monday. The Steam controller is Valve's second try at a PC gamepad, following its first attempt in 2015. Last week, Valve announced that the Steam controller would be available to order from Steam today, May 4th, for $99. The demand turned out to be high. After going on sale at 1 p.m. EDT, some users reported that they were met with Steam error citing a high volume of purchase requests. Others were able to get as far as Steam's payment method screen, but were hit with errors that prevented them from locking in their transaction. Around 30 minutes later, the Steam controller page listed the product as out of stock. And since then, it is actually out of stock. No matter what the article suggested you, later that day on Monday, they had, again, a certain availability, but it's not anymore. Now, interesting, I just have that in mind. I should point that out. I should have put it in my articles here. Valve has ordered 50 tons of Steam machine hardware. They were not very specific. We have just this statement, Steam machine hardware. Now, many speculated like, oh, that must be the Steam machine, like the the Cube we just saw months and months ago, and they finally have some on stock. Some have just pointed out some numbers, 20,000 units are out there, but there's zero evidence of that. Steam machine hardware could also mean it is actually a lot of those controllers, already. They saw the demand and ordered right away 50 tons of Steam machine hardware. Could be also this Steam handheld, the Steam Deck, because that's also Steam machine hardware, right? We don't know, but that was also in the same time period now reported as the release of the joypad here, of the controller. I don't see any use case for myself for this controller. I don't see in which games those pads would be useful. I am very happy with my controller, by 8-bit though. The wireless one, the Black Myth version, can do everything with it. Or if the battery runs low, my 8-bit Pro 2 does the job too. All the buttons are there, even extra buttons if necessary on the back, programmable and all that. I don't see, for myself at least, a use case where those pads might be nice. Haste probably because Linux and all that, using it as a mouse to get in and out of Steam, big picture or whatever it's gonna use as an overlay, might be useful. I don't need it. $100 might be a fair price. Usually the hardware by Valve is well made. I know that much, but is it worth for me $100? Not really, not at all. Scalpers who got hands on a few units already are selling it on eBay for $200. Just pointing that out. So if you're so desperate for Gabe Newell to become him even richer, go buy it, I guess, on eBay and later on Steam again. Sad news if you're a Call of Duty fag, a COD fag. A nail in PS4's coffin. Call of Duty will finally ditch last-gen console. After 13 games on the PS4, publisher Activision has confirmed this year's Call of Duty release won't be launching on the last-gen system. That means last year's Black Ops 7 was its last. As one of the last remaining consistent franchises for the console stops its support in 2026. I couldn't care less, but many people love Call of Duty. Many people have a PlayStation 4, so it might be a useful information for you people. You people. I should have bought it instead of talking about the price when I saw it. Could have flipped it. Yeah, you never know. The thing is, like I suspect Valve already ordered tons and tons of more controller. In the same time, they're sold out. Because we also don't know how many units they really had on stock on Steam to sell. Maybe it was only 500,000 and globally they went out in an instant. That's not a lot, Maybe it was only 100,000, who the heck knows? They didn't throw around any numbers at all. Now, that's good news for Xbox gamers. Copilot is kaputt on Xbox consoles. OFP. Like many modern tech companies, Microsoft is gambling a lot on consumers embracing an AI-powered future. Recent moves have seen Microsoft's AI dubbing Copilot integrated into numerous products like Windows 11 to not entirely enthusiastic reception. With AI fatigue among consumers seeming to set in and Xbox gaming division making some large-scale changes, an executive decision has been made. Copilot for consoles and mobile is officially dead. I think it's postponed. I think that's the best word here. I think it's just pushing aside for right now. I'm pretty sure they did just kill it off. Especially when you see like Sony has patents for certain AI features. Microsoft has certain patents for AI features on consoles, on the Xbox platform. I don't think it's died completely. Maybe they're just going to just rename it and still using the same mechanics behind it. I don't think it's like official AI on consoles completely dead. Copilot as this one name, maybe, most likely, right? Microsoft recently promoted Xbox division CEO Asha Sharma officially dropped the news today on in a post on X. Xbox needs to move faster, deepen our connection with the community, and address friction for both players and developers. Today, we promoted leaders who helped build Xbox, while also bringing in new voices to help push us forward. The balance is important as we get the business. Just some trying big words as a new CEO. The quick, ignorable death of console Copilot falls in line with all of the recent moves we've seen on the Xbox division of Microsoft trimming the fat while refocusing on high-quality games. Yeah, like what high-quality games? Like Fable? Is everybody waiting for the androgynous woman-looking, sort of woman-looking hero in the new Fable? Is that the high-quality standard you have set for yourself? Look, if you have a female character in the game, unless it's like very, very super crucial to the game, that it's an ugly character. If it's not a fuckable character, if you don't want, even as a human being, male human being, like to fuck that character, which is completely imaginary, if it doesn't look that good, you lost a lot of your fan base right there, man. So yeah, is that the quality you're talking about? We don't really know what plans existed for console Copilot beyond the already extant gaming Copilot app. But whatever they were, they've now been abandoned. And it's possible that gaming Copilot will follow suit. I don't have high hopes for that. Especially because Microsoft is doing, we just showed numbers 1.5 hours or so ago, doing well with AI overall in their infrastructure with AI services. It seems like they are not just going to abandon everything. I think they just postponed, just put it aside. And Asha, the new CEO of Xbox, pretends to be like a gamer girl somehow, you know, some kind of this connecting factor with developers and gamers. You know, she has to address the friction between developers and players, you know. She is for you, man. Trust me, bro. And she put out this little tweet, this little X post. And is that your method, how you try to catch players again, gain the trust back from players? I think the bigger factor that players might trust you more is a little bit decrease in the subscription price of Ultimate from $30 to 24 after it was 20 like 7 months ago. So that's now how she tries to convince you she is one of us gamers. Oh, big changes, everybody. Haste probably got a little chubby just seeing this new boot up animation and sound. Should I play it again? Here. Are you coming, everybody? Is everybody coming? You wanted a little bit bigger screen because you didn't realize how amazing this work she's doing and putting out there. You know, the first consoles usually, and maybe the second one, get like big hype for good reasons, maybe. Because those boot up sounds were like iconic and still are iconic. The PlayStation 1 boot up sound. The PlayStation 2 still okay, you know. But the magic in that sense of the first generation of those newer, higher definition consoles, you're never going to catch that feeling ever again. That's just a simple fact. It looks nice, you know, it looks like very clean and all that. But if that's the way you try to convince players to come back to you, because, oh yeah, we did a little new boot up splash there for you guys. If that's the level of your change, I don't think Xbox is gonna be like this super sought after platform in the future. I think you're leaving the whole fucking like floor out there for Sony and Nintendo in the next generation, especially because you don't do a next generation hardware. But that's only my retarded thoughts on that. She might be like super mega duper ultra smart, you know, or maybe she just got the position because she's a little bit brownish, she's a female, who knows, maybe she might be even gay. Maybe that's why she got the position, like trifecta of DEI. Who the heck knows at this point? But I don't see like she has experience as a CEO, I don't think she made those decisions so far, like decreasing the price and all that. I think that was done by Bond and Spencer, president and CEO, up till February. And they just made those decisions and said like, I don't see a future in here. I'm okay if you let me off the hook, Microsoft. But that's only my thoughts. As usual, my thoughts are retarded. Okay, guys, that was kind of a long show because we had also tons of news actually. And who knows when I'm going to do a next show. But I think it was a good show. Interaction in the chat. Now, I'm just going to scroll to gaming. I'm going to go scrolling down, going just to page number 5. And Haste, are you still there? Give me a number between... Wait a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Between 1 and 23. Because Haste was generous today again. He thought like, yeah, I don't want a Saturn. I'm gonna give this guy money. I'm waiting. Number between 1 and 23. Come on. Waiting. Everybody wake up, Haste. Where is he? I'm waiting just for Haste. Probably. I mean, he said yo to FP. I picked 17. Yeah, but you were not generous. At least not today. Just because you put out the pickle for in the chat for Sarge, because he loved twitching pickles. Maybe he can read. Give me a number between 1 to 23. He might be able to read. He just probably muted the stream. What time is it? Almost 1 a.m. here, and I haven't eaten today at all. I mean, not at all. I had some pretzel sticks. Peanut butter filled pretzel sticks. I wouldn't die if I don't eat today. That's not the case, but I have to kind of empty the fridge. So we're gonna eat some spätzle. Okay, no, I'm gonna let Ouch decide. Ouch, give me a number, because he gave a donation for many bucks over PayPal. Oh, hey, now he comes in. 5, okay. That's, oh no, that's, I was scrolled down too much. You decided that the next dude is gonna get the raid, because we have over 10 views. Anyhow, guys, my name is Ike. This was TAGN with GameStop CEO telling you, just go to the webpage, go check out the 50/50 number. Just go to the page. It's everything on the page. Besides, not everything is there. Have a great one. Bye-bye.